going to be a moment. And then we've got a bunch of great kitchen hacks that will leave you saying, why didn't I think of that?
Plus, it is Wednesday, so that means Trendsday Wednesday. We're going to break down all the hot topics for you.
Wednesday, Trends Yay. Sounds like a packed show. Let's get to it. It is time for
Today in 30.
And now to new COVID concerns that are reigniting the debate over masks as outbreaks of the highly contagious Delta variant spread. Some health officials in some communities are reinstating safety recommendations, even for those who are fully vaccinated. We're going to talk about that with the director of the CDC in a moment. But first, NBC News national correspondent Miguel Almaguer has our report. Miguel, good morning.
Savannah, good morning. Officials are warning the more transmissible variant could be the dominant strain by the fall, especially in parts of the country with low vaccination rates. That concern's already leading the country's most populous county to reverse course and tell residents don't ditch all pandemic precautions just yet.
This morning, the dangerous Delta COVID variant renewing the debate over face masks.
It's definitely been kind of chaotic, and there's not really strict guidance.
I think it should be your choice if you want to wear a mask or not.
LA County is urging everyone to keep wearing masks inside public places like grocery stores and movie theaters, whether you're vaccinated or not. The county's public health agency saying until we better understand how and to who the Delta variant is spreading, everyone should focus on maximum protection. That messaging in line with the World Health Organization, which continues to recommend face masks and social distancing indoors. Lester with Dr. Fauci.
Do you expect the CDC to change its mask-wearing guidelines for vaccinated Americans?
No, Lester, I don't. We know from experience now that the vaccines that we're using in this country do very well against the Delta variant.
Moderna announcing a new lab study found its vaccine shows promise in protecting against virus variants, including Delta. Still ahead of the busy 4th of July weekend, many are encouraging caution.
You should just bring your mask with you and keep safe.
The new concerns especially tough for parents with kids too young to get a shot.
It's the pros and cons. Do you want to get out and socialize? Just like a constant double-edged sword to me.
Another debate among doctors, should Americans vaccinated with Johnson & Johnson consider getting a booster shot? There are multiple clinical trials in the U.S. on booster shots with various combinations of the existing vaccines, but some doctors are already adding a shot of another vaccine to J&J. Dr. Angela Rasmussen, a virologist, initially got the J&J shot, but recently took a dose of Pfizer.
I thought that it was wise to err on the side of having as much protection as possible.
Still, she touts the overall effectiveness of the vaccines.
The J&J vaccine does provide full vaccination. That is, they need to keep you from getting really sick. They need to keep you out of the hospital, and they need to keep you from dying.
Johnson & Johnson says its vaccine offers durable protection, and at present there is no evidence to suggest a need for a booster dose. Dr. Fauci also told Lester the CDC and FDA will need more time to study scientific data before any formal recommendation on boosters is made. Savannah?
Miguel, thank you. Dr. Rochelle Walensky is the director of the Centers for Disease Control, and she joins us now. Dr. Walensky, good morning. It's good to see you again.
Good morning, Savannah. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's talk about this confusion, because I think a lot of people are going to be scratching their heads. You have LA and you have the state of Illinois saying, look, even if you're vaccinated, if you're indoors, put that mask back on. The WHO, the World Health Organization, takes it a step further and says you should not only be wearing your mask, even if you're vaccinated, you should do the social distancing. Where does the CDC come down on this?
I think this is a really important thing to work to clarify. First, we know that the WHO has to make guidelines and provide information to the world. Right now, we know as we look across the globe that less than 15% of people around the world have been vaccinated, and many people of those have really only received one dose of a two-dose vaccine. There are places around the world that are surging, and so as the WHO makes those recommendations, they do so in that context. context. Here in the United States, we're fortunate. We have 3 vaccines that we know are safe and effective. We have 2/3 of the adult population that is fully vaccinated and really quite protected from the variants that we have circulating here in the United States. That said, we've always said that local policymakers need to make policies for their local environment. There are areas of this country where about 1/3 of people are vaccinated. They have low vaccination rates. And there are areas that have more disease, that are have more disease in the context of people not being vaccinated. So in those areas, we have always said, please look, make suggestions. But those masking policies are not to protect the vaccinated. They're to protect the unvaccinated.
So bottom line, all that context is actually quite helpful, but the bottom line is the CDC still says if you are vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask.
That's exactly right. And what I would say in that context is if you're vaccinated, you are safe from the variants that are circulating here in the United States. We would suggest that you look to your local policies because we would like our policymakers, even if you're one of the 1/3 of people vaccinated in an area, to adhere to the policies to protect the policies that are made to protect the unvaccinated. And then, of course, as we have always said, if you have an immunocompromising condition, if you might have had a transplant and you're vaccinated, everybody should consider their own situation if they would feel more comfortable wearing a mask.
Another big issue that's come up, the Delta variant is sweeping through this country quite quickly. As you know, it's very concerning for health officials such as yourself. Now, the 2-shot vaccines, the Pfizer and the Moderna that we have here in the U.S. have been shown to be quite effective if you have both doses. Johnson & Johnson, the single-dose vaccine, is somewhat less effective against this Delta variant. I think that the science is showing that so far. A lot of private doctors are telling their patients who got the J&J 1-shot dose, go ahead and get a booster shot. Go get a Pfizer. Go get a Moderna. Is that okay with you? Do you think that that's a good recommendation? Should people do that?
Thank you, Savannah. So let me clarify this point as well. Right now, we have no information to suggest that you need a second shot after J&J, even with the Delta variant. Here's what we know so far. We have seen less data with J&J and the Delta variant, and those data are forthcoming. However, we have every reason to believe, based on how J&J is performing with other variants of concern, and that is quite well, and how its sister vaccine, AstraZeneca, has performed against the Delta variant in other countries, which has done quite well there as well. So generally, people are agreeing that they anticipate that the J&J will perform well against the Delta variant, as it has so far against other variants circulating in the United States.
I guess to put a fine point on it, is there any harm in doing that? Let's say it performs well, but not as well as the 2-shot regimens. If a doctor tells you, hey, go get another shot, another booster shot, just to be rather safe than sorry, is there any harm in doing it? Is there any reason not to do that?
Well, it's unstudied. And so what I would say is just as we don't have any data to inform and say we believe that the J&J is actually going to perform well, we don't have a wealth of data to say how well you'll be protected by a second vaccine, what side effects would occur with that vaccine. So if you choose to do that, the one thing I would ask is to enter a study in doing so we can learn more.
All right. Dr. Walensky, always lots to talk to you about. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Stay well.
We are back. Chanel joins us to talk about this agonizing injury in Wimbledon. What a shocker.
Yes, good morning. Serena Williams had to retire from her first-round match with a leg injury after she slipped several times on the grass court. And while she tried to fight through the pain, in the end, it was too much, erasing her shot at another Grand Slam title. Sweeping onto center court at Wimbledon for her first-round match, Serena Williams was trying for her elusive 24th major title, which would have tied her for the most majors ever. But shortly into the match with Alexandra Sosnovic, the 39-year-old superstar lost her footing, suffering an injury. She was clearly in pain, but valiantly tried to continue playing. Wow. The crowd encouraged her, but it wasn't enough. Serena eventually dropping to her knees in agony. With tears in her eyes, she gave an emotional wave to the crowd and held her hand over her heart as she exited the court. Serena later paying tribute to her fans on Instagram, writing, "I am heartbroken to have to withdraw today after injuring my right leg, feeling the extraordinary warmth and support of the crowd today when I walked on and off the court meant the world to me."
You do have to move very, very carefully out there. And if you push too hard in the wrong moments, you do go down. But this is obviously terrible.
Federer's opponent was also forced to retire because of a similar fall.
It was not easy to watch. I actually turned away. I was in the gym actually stretching. I turned away because stuff like that just makes me really emotional.
Serena last won a Grand Slam in 2017 and has been fighting for Grand Slam titles since giving birth to her daughter, giving a tearful press conference after exiting the Australian Open in the semifinals. But the crowd here giving their full support and encouragement.
Stick around because there is much more coming up on Today in 30.
I'm rolling up my sleeves for science, so I'll survive if I contract this virus. For family dinners, family vacations, family anything. For traveling somewhere beyond my living room. And for the Rebels, there is no greater feeling than being in the stadium and cheering on Ole Miss. And now it's your turn. Roll up your sleeves, America. Plan your vaccine, because every shot counts. Visit planyourvaccine.com and make your plan.
Right now on NBC News Now.
They've done things like installing cameras to help alert Border Patrol to people crossing. They are escaping a number of conditions there, violence and persecution in their home countries.
It does seem as if this White House doesn't want to bring a lot of high-profile attention to the issue. What efforts might depoliticize vaccine hesitancy? What happens if we don't act on police reform this year? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
I joined Ellen on her set. What's been a difficult year for her personally and for her show.
Very few people go through such huge public humiliation. How can I be an example of strength and perseverance if I give up and run away?
We're back. Carson's here. Good morning, sunshine.
Morning,
y'all.
We are starting a special series this morning, remembering Princess Diana. We're taking a closer look at her life and her legacy, the people's princess.
It's hard to believe, but she would have turned 60 tomorrow, and her sons will be leading a very special tribute when they reveal the statue that is inside that box right there. NBC's Kelly Kobiea is at Kensington Palace with more. Good morning, Kelly.
Guys, good morning. This statue of Diana, commissioned by her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, is set to be unveiled tomorrow here at Kensington Palace in the Sunken Garden on what would have been her 60th birthday. It's a place Princess Diana loved, planted in white to celebrate her life in 2017. Brothers William and Harry, still close then, wanted something more permanent, a statue of their mother, to help visitors reflect on her life and legacy.
Your mom was a wonderful woman.
Prince William struggled following the loss of his mother in 1997, but has since opened up about his pain.
I think when you are bereaved at a very young age, anytime really, but particularly at a young age, I can resonate closely to that. You feel pain like no other pain.
Prince Harry told Oprah Winfrey how he battled to cope with the grief.
I was so angry with what happened to her, and the fact that there was no justice. The same people that chased her into the tunnel photographed her dying on the back seat of that car.
The loss was devastating. Her sons have said they take comfort in memories of a happier time.
It was lovely to see them together because she was very joyous, and they were obviously absolutely the apples of her eyes, and there was a lot of laughter.
Royal photographer Jane Fincher followed Princess Diana for almost 2 decades. She recalls moments of pure joy.
The boys burst out of the doors, and Diana spotted them, and she ran the length of the yacht, going, "Oh, like my boys," like this.
It was one of Diana's favorite pictures.
She had that in a frame above her dressing room.
Fincher was there behind the lens when Diana helped change the world's attitude to AIDS patients.
There's a lot of sympathy and compassion. She was a compassionate person.
Diana's sons followed in her footsteps, carrying on with the work their mother started.
Sorry! Her two sons are still such a living, strong embodiment of everything she was trying to do. I think that keeps her very much alive in our thoughts, particularly when you have big moments like this.
Now that we're coming up on this very emotional anniversary, I mean, does that make it even harder for the family and for the brothers that there does seem to be this rift and they're not on the best of terms?
For Harry and William, hopefully it won't overshadow what they're trying to do, which is to honour their mother's legacy with this public statue.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Half of all U.S. adults now fully vaccinated.
Al is in Cleveland for our Reopening America series.
This is the greatest location in the nation.
Music is back.
Y'all were exactly what we needed.
Our week-long journey begins here in Orlando, Louisville, Kentucky, Cleveland. Our Across America journey reporting on an America rebuilding and reimagining the future after the pandemic. Breaking news tonight, the ceasefire in the Middle East after 11 days of deadly violence. Richard Engel is on the ground. Do you think there's a connection between policing and racism? How narrow a window do you have to really get kids back where we would want them to be?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Our Across America journey here in Louisville, Kentucky, Cleveland. Reporting on an America rebuilding after the pandemic. How narrow a window do you have to really get kids back where we would want them to be?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts. The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Hey everyone, Elena Besser here, about to go live on the third hour. I just want to show you my setup here. I have a crumble that I made in advance, all my fruit and the topping for the crumble, my skillet, my spices, it's all ready to rock. My ring light is right over here, and my camera. I'm about to go live. Looking forward to it. See you then.
Now with answers to your burning cooking questions. Every time we put out a call on Instagram, you guys come through. And this morning we have some great solutions to your kitchen conundrums.
So here to help us out, Chef Elena Besser, host of Breakfast with Besser on Food Network Kitchen. Elena, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. How's it going?
Yeah, it's doing great. So we want to jump right in. So we're trying to cut things back. We don't need a kitchen full of utensils. Tony Shep 318 on Instagram asking the question, if you can only use one pan, what's the best all-around option? And it's one that's really old school.
Okay.
Yes, it is, Al, and I'm so happy that someone asked this question. It is the cast iron skillet.
Boom.
So I have it right here in front of me. I know that they can seem super intimidating, but what's so great about them is that they are nice and hearty. They hold heat evenly. So whatever you're cooking, whether it's savory food or sweet food, you can cook with this thing, whether it be on the stovetop, in the oven. And I also love how it looks. You can take it straight to the table and not get any more dishes or plates dirty.
That's right. And they're cheap, too.
They're cheap, but I feel intimidating because you have to season them.
Well, a lot of
you
them
can't
come
wash
pre-seasoned.
them. I mean, how are you supposed to wash it?
Okay, so the washing process and the rusting, people can feel really intimidated by it, absolutely. But the funny part is it's actually so easy. All you need to do is just wash it with hot soapy water and then take a little bit of neutral oil, brush that oil onto the
'Cause it's to
skillet once
season it.
you've dried it off. Or you can also put a little paper towel, use the paper towel to wipe that oil on. And then you pop it into the oven for about 1 hour at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and you're good to go. If you want to put it on the stovetop instead, you could do the exact same process.
Okay. Once it's seasoned, then you don't use water anymore, right?
Yeah, generally speaking.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
No, you can still use. You could still use a little bit of
Just a
water if
little
you want
bit.
afterwards.
Can I
Yeah.
ask a question?
I know. Soapy water
Kosher
is
salt is
fine.
also good to clean and get the
How
bits
about
out.
I buy it and give it to you?
Okay, good idea.
Sorry, so many
Gotta keep
questions
moving.
about that. Moving on. Okay, Linda has her own conundrum. She says that she can't crack an egg without dropping the shell into the dish. I finally have gotten Calvin to crack an egg without getting shells all in the dish, but what's the technique to get it out?
Yes. Okay. So it can seem so difficult and frustrating, but it's funny because actually the way to get it out is to use the shell that is left over. So take that half of the shell that you have, put it into that egg to pull out easily that little shell piece. It's absolutely amazing, but for some reason, that same shell is the thing that's going to get it out rather than your fingertips or a spoon. But it works every single time.
All right, Tom Double L on Instagram also thanks you for that tip because my mind has been blown. All right, we have one more here. This is Maggie up from Instagram, and she says spices can be very intimidating. What are the basic spices everyone should have in their kitchen?
Yes, it's so true. Spices can feel super intimidating, but I love to have 7 on hand. I have them right here in front of me, displayed in these fun little jars. And I really like to have cumin, garlic powder, paprika, red pepper flakes, bay leaves, oregano, black peppercorns, and cinnamon. They're so versatile. The cinnamon works in both sweet and savory cooking. And the best part is you can just use these for tons of different types of cuisine. So you don't need to feel as intimidated. But the most important thing to pay attention to is to toast your spices before you cook with them. So essentially what happens is once these spices are ground, they're lying dormant in their jars, and that flavor is slowly dissipating. So we got to wake them up. We got to give them a little heat to release those oils and max out their flavor. So always toast them in a skillet on a stovetop for about 1 to 2 minutes until it smells nice and fragrant, and then add them into your recipe.
Hey, Elena, how long should you keep spices?
Okay, Al, that is a great question. Always keep an eye on the expiration date. So it varies depending on the spice. If it's in its whole form, it usually lasts longer than if it's in its ground form. But I always put the date on the back of my spice jars because you can't keep them for an eternity.
Oh my God.
I feel like a lot of people think you can.
If you check my cabinet right now, when's the last? I've had cinnamon forever. All right, we have time for one more really quickly. It's summer, so fruit is in high demand, and Meredith asked about foolproof fruit dessert recipes. Ooh, really quick. We have 1 minute.
Oh, yeah. This is a fun one. Okay, so what I love about this one is it actually happens in a cast iron skillet, believe it or not. So this is my foolproof fruit crumble. So what you got to do, just take any fruit that you have on hand. We got peaches and some raspberries here. We're going to mix them together with a little bit of sugar, that cinnamon that we have in our universal spice drawer. And then we also put that into the cast iron skillet. We make a little bit of crumble here, and this crumble is just a combination of some flour, some brown sugar, a little bit more of that cinnamon, some oats if you want, a little salt, and we top that right over that gorgeous fruit. We pop it into the oven, bake it up until it is golden brown and bubbly, and that crumb has set.
Elena, that
and
looks
you just
terrific. We've got to, unfortunately, we've got to go, but these were fantastic
Can't wait
hacks.
till you
Thank
get here in person.
Okay,
Thank you so much. Me too.
This is about 50 votes. If you can't get bipartisanship here, where are you going to get it? If China decided to cover this up, can we ever actually get a definitive answer? What happens if we don't act on police reform this year? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Tonight, the CDC's new outdoor mask guidelines. What changed that allowed this new recommendation to be made? If we do nothing, what happens to a city like Houston?
You're going to repeat this movie over and over again.
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. Congratulations to Lester Holt, the most trusted TV news anchor in America, on receiving the prestigious Edward R. Murrow Lifetime Achievement Award. for a career dedicated to excellence in journalism.
Make the most of your day with
Today in
30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Savannah and Hoda bring you what you must know. The biggest moments of the morning.
One Republic!
Exclusive interviews.
Why did it work for you?
You're right. I am more talented than the rest.
And important headlines.
Major medical news this morning.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule. Streaming every day on Today All Day.
What's about to happen on our plaza is you're all going to get your very first COVID vaccine.
I'm excited.
She's excited. 3, 2, 1.
So grateful.
That close to crying.
Here we go.
Hello, everybody watching Today in 30 on Today All Day. That's a tongue twister. You guys do not want to miss this Trendsday Wednesday. And please, we're talking Cardi B. We're talking the new app that's going to help you not have those awkward run-ins when you're trying to move out. And the mashup you didn't know you needed. You'll want to check this out.
Okay, now on to Trendsday Wednesday with one of our favorite people on the planet, somebody that always answers, Justin Sylvester.
All right, tell us, Justin, what's everyone buzzing about, babe?
Well, you guys, I'm sure you heard that Cardi B broke some major news at the BET Awards on Sunday night. She is pregnant with baby number 2. And how else would Cardi share this joyous blessing from God? By twerking in front of 2 million eyeballs in a cutout bodysuit and sky-high heels, of course.
There you go.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that every OBGYN in America was on the edge of their seats.
I know.
Okay,
I'm sure.
and how does this reveal to Beyonce? Let's be honest.
Beyonce, I remember her reveal.
Well, you guys, if you remember, Beyonce showed up, she showed out, and she sang at the VMAs, and she revealed that she was pregnant with Blue Ivy. Now, if you look at what she did with the pregnancy announcement with the twins, she broke the internet with the veil, the floral backdrop, and of course, the budget. Okay?
You're right. All right, let's talk about something that had Twitter buzzing yesterday. There's something that's not a dating app, it's the opposite. What is it?
Okay. You guys, I know a lot of you got into pandemic relationships because you didn't want to be alone. But if you want to get out of them right now and you want to move out with your man, we have the perfect new online service for you. It's called Postdates. It just launched yesterday, and it's just like Postmates, but instead of ordering your favorite thing in, you can order back all of your stuff from your ex, your toothbrush, your hoodie, your favorite, the blanket that your Gammy gave you for Kwanzaa 2 years ago that I still can't get back from my ex-boyfriend, Kevin. It all comes back to you because they send someone to get it for you. Now, I know this sounds fake, right? I know you guys think that it's not real.
We don't believe it.
Yeah, we don't.
It is real. They're operating right now in LA and New York, and I have to be honest, this inspired me. So I went ahead and I trademarked Boo Hall. It's when you want to move in with your boo, so we help you get in. And FedEx, which I'm probably going to get sued for, but we get your stuff back overnight, okay? So if anybody has a plug with Mark Cuban or Shark Tank, I'm trying to get this thing rolling.
I love it.
Okay, the Brady Bunch has a new reboot that
this sounds cray. Let's hear it.
Okay, RuPaul's Drag Race with the Brady Bunch. Need I say more? This crossover is going to be insane. It's called Dragging the Classics, the Brady Bunch. And it's going to feature RuPaul and some Drag Race fan favorites, and they're going to reenact an episode from season 2. It's going to be iconic. It's going to be crazy. They're using crazy CGI to get them back in the original house. It is insane,
Wait,
and it starts on Paramount Plus.
Justin, was that the real Peter Brady? It looked like him.
That was the real Peter Brady. They have real
some of the
actors.
So Peter's really there.
Oh, Justin.
Yes.
That's a hit.
It's
That's
amazing.
going to be a hit.
Justin,
All right.
we love you.
You can catch Justin weekdays on Daily Pop, our sister network on E.
Well, it's another big show. So big. This big. How big?
Huge. All right, here we go. This is what we're going to do. Tomorrow, we're getting in on your holiday weekend celebrations. Our girl Chanel Jones, she's going to be live from a sunrise dance party.
What?
So Chanel dancing.
So Hoda, you should be there
wanted
too.
to know that, yeah.
It's going to be fun. We'll see you Thursday morning.
Thanks for joining me at Today All Day. I love sharing Cooking with Cal videos with you, but I've also gotten the chance to interview so many fantastic people across our country wanting to make a difference in one person's life or change the world for the better. Here are a few of my favorites. Enjoy. Growing up, this recipe reminded me of going to my grandmother's for dinner. This was actually my grandmother's recipe, and when we go over her house, it was always something hearty. We always loved going to her house for dinner. Say hi, Mammy.
Hi, Mammy.
Hi, Cal. How are you today?
I asked you for the recipe, and you said, you know, you just throw the meat in a dish, you throw this together, you put it on top, you cover it for a little, you cook it for a little.
There was no written instructions with the recipe, so a lot depended on looking at it, seeing what it's doing, throw it in the oven a little bit longer, that kind of thing.
Well, I wish you could be here with me to help make this and especially eat it with us. Can you say Happy Mother's Day?
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I miss you.
Okay, Happy Mother's Day, Dill. Love you, boys.
Mwah. All right, are you ready to cook Mammy's recipe?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if these all fit.
You have 9 of them?
I have 9 of them, you're right.
Miss.
Let's see, this will be a tight squeeze, but we'll see if we can get them all here. Okay. There we go. They're all squeezed in there, right?
Yeah. Okay.
A little salt, pepper. Now we have to slice up an onion.
Oh, what if it hurts my eye?
I know.
Can I close my eye?
Well, then it's hard to cut and close your eyes at the same time. Okay. Gonna make some slices here. Good job. You okay? We've got all kinds of spices here, okay?
Are we gonna mix them up?
Yeah, but first, I want you to scoop all of this tomato paste into here as well, okay? You pour this water in there.
I cannot do it.
Because you're here to help me. Okay, so now we're going to pour all of this all over our short ribs.
Now we're gonna bake them.
Then we're gonna bake them, you're right. So all we have to do, we're gonna cover this with foil. We're gonna bake it for like 45 minutes.
45 minutes. I have soccer, right?
That's right. This is yummy. Now we'll put it back in the oven without the foil so it finishes cooking.
Where's the noodle?
This tastes exactly like my grandma's.
Is hers yummy?
Hers is so yummy.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Make the most of your day with
Today in
30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule, streaming every day on Today All Day.
It does seem as if this White House doesn't want to bring a lot of high-profile attention to the issue. What efforts might depoliticize vaccine hesitancy? What happens if we don't act on police reform this year? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Killer Roll, the new podcast from Dateline. Subscribe now wherever you listen.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
He's an entrepreneur hoping to start a tiny living trend by inspiring people to dream big and live small.
I'm not doing this for great shots at the beach. This is my home, and it has been my home for 3 years, and I love it. I enjoy it, but I'm not here doing it for the gram.
Vaughn Dabney is an entrepreneur, author, and software engineer living in a delivery truck.
The first comment that people make when they walk into this truck is like, wow, it's bigger than I thought. I've had 8 people in here comfortably before.
He spent most of his life on the East Coast, but
I was over the winters, and I moved to LA for the weather.
after spending 2 years living in an apartment in downtown LA, he decided to give up his place and drive around the country. That trip inspired him to think outside the box.
I didn't want to rent another apartment, and, a light bulb went off.
Welcome to my home. My name is Vaughn Dabney, and I'm the creator of the Tiny Home Truck.
Dabney's love of architecture and his engineering background led him to design a tiny home truck, as he likes to call it, that is both space efficient and comfortable.
Here's where I sleep.
This is my Murphy bed. This is actually a mural I did. It's the biggest art piece I've ever done. It always makes for a great Zoom background, and it folds down onto the benches that I'm sitting on, and it's this huge space saver.
As for his daily routine, he says it's not far off from everyone else's.
I get up, I put my bed away, brush my teeth in the sink, and I cook breakfast sometimes. It's normal. It's not that much different than, someone in a small New York apartment. And I have everything that you can find in a standard home. It feels like home in here.
Dabney's tiny home truck is also extremely cost-effective and environmentally friendly.
It's an opportunity for me to not have to pay rent. I have free electricity from solar. My water bill is like $30 a month. Propane is negligible. I feel like I'm doing my part. I wish my vehicle was not gas powered, and I'm looking at alternative solutions in terms of converting it to electric.
Since remodeling his truck, Dabney has started a business, Unoma House, which specializes in sustainable, off-grid van conversions for those looking for alternative mobile housing.
I think the moment that I knew this was going to be a business idea was actually when I first started it. Maybe I was 25% into the build, and someone asked me on Instagram, how much are you selling that for?
His goal is to eventually expand the company into nonprofit work, helping crowded cities provide small but affordable and comfortable housing to those who need it.
It's going to take everyone. It's going to be a collective unification of everyone to solve this problem. We all have to eventually say, you know what? Let's figure out how to solve this.
Dabney hopes that his living small inspires others in his community to do the same.
I just wanted to add to the narrative to show and give confidence. Somebody showed you how to ride a bike when you were younger, and that person instilled confidence in you because you trusted them. They probably reminded you of yourself. I am trying to be that trust factor in my community to give confidence to have someone ride that bike.
All right, so Dabney spent less than $20,000 on his tiny home truck. That includes the cost of the truck. And he also has plans to expand into building tiny homes in repurposed shipping containers, which are actually a good size. If you could turn that into a home for such low cost.
And then you could go to other places, ship yourself to Japan.
Exactly. It helps, though,
Just
that he's an engineer and he can do a lot of the work
He can actually build this stuff.
I missed the part that we talked. I saw the shower. What about the bathroom?
He uses a pail right now, but he said...
Are you serious?
He could connect to,
Is that true? Did you make that up?
No. It was in the note.
He uses a pail?
Right now.
I
guess he gets his exercise.
I was all in until I heard that.
That's right.
No, but it reminds me of an RV, right?
You don't use a pail in an RV.
Well, I'm just saying it's a little more eco-friendly. I think he's onto something.
Yeah.
He's working it out.
He's either onto something or he's on something.
Ow. He's onto something.
Kidding.
Right now on NBC News Now.
They've done things like installing cameras to help alert Border Patrol to people crossing.
They are escaping a number of conditions there, violence and persecution in their home countries.
I'm rolling up my sleeves for science, so I'll survive if I contract this virus. For family dinners, family vacations, family anything, for traveling somewhere beyond my living room. And for the Rebels, there is no greater feeling than being in the stadium and cheering on Ole Miss. And now it's your turn. Roll up your sleeves, America. Plan your vaccine, because every shot counts. Visit planyourvaccine.com and make your plan.
Killer Roll, the new podcast from Dateline. Subscribe now wherever you listen.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Half of all U.S. adults now fully vaccinated.
Al is in Cleveland for our Reopening America series.
This is the greatest location in the nation.
Music is back.
Y'all were exactly what we needed.
Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends at Today in a whole new way.
Today in
30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Jill Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Get ready. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day. Make the most of your day with
Today in
30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule. Streaming every day on Today All Day.
Killer Roll, the new podcast from Dateline. Subscribe now wherever you listen.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
All right, so we've all talked a lot about getting outside and enjoying nature, just even going for a walk. But for parents, it can be tough to pull kids away from screens now.
Well, I spoke to a mom who started a whole movement to get kids out the door, and she says the results are life-changing.
I would have never thought that something as simple as outdoor play could be so beneficial emotionally and socially. It helps the child, but it also helps the parent.
10 years ago, Ginny Urich was a mother of 3 young kids, struggling to find ways to fill the day.
What was daily life like for you?
I was drowning, was really drowning, very discouraged, and just having a hard time making it through the day to day.
What were some of the activities you would do at the time to keep them occupied?
We scheduled a lot of things, like library programs and the music class and swim, and those things were very hard to juggle. It was a lot of effort for maybe not so much output.
That was until one day a mom friend of Ginny's invited her to the park for a play date.
She had read from this educator from the 1800s who actually said kids should be outside for 4 to 6 hours whenever the weather is tolerable. And I thought, well, that's absurd. But I went along with my friend, and it was sort of the first day that I had a good day as a mom. And it's like Mother Nature sort of stepped in to occupy the kids. I left feeling refreshed and rejuvenated, and that one day changed the whole course of our life.
As her kids spent more time outside each day, the Michigan mom started noticing how outdoor play was positively impacting their lives.
They're more coordinated all of a sudden, and they're happier, and they're thriving. They're jumping off of stumps. They're chasing squirrels. They're doing all these things that seem frivolous, but really have so much value for their whole child development.
I don't know why I'm getting emotional hearing you talking about this, but there's something to be said about allowing kids to just find pure joy, doing what their brain wants to do. And I know for a fact my son Calvin loves to jump off of stumps.
And it's a gift, I think, to know that those things are worthy.
In 2013, she started writing about her family's outdoor experiences and set a challenge for themselves for 1 year, calling it 1,000 hours outside.
That sounds like a lot of time. How did you come up with that? Why didn't we start with 100 or 200?
The prevailing research is hitting around 3 hours of outdoor play is sort of a really beneficial number to shoot for. And I started the website when I realized that average screen time is about 1,200 hours a year. But kids are only outside for 4 to 7 minutes a day. And so over the course of a year, I am aiming to fill our life with these 1,000 hours of nature time. And some families do more and some families shoot for less, but the point is being intentional about it.
Today, Ginny now has 5 kids in tow, and her 1,000 Hours Outside community has grown into a worldwide movement with more than 250,000 posts from families sharing their outdoor adventures on social media.
Have you noticed your community growing because of the pandemic? People are sick of being inside?
I think think so, and I also think that there's not much else to do. All of a sudden, everything got canceled. Then we realized that nature offers so much for us. I think that has changed a lot of people's lives.
I'm looking at your background, and this is my background.
Yeah, love it.
So how do I do this in New York City?
This is actually the special part of it. It looks different for every family. No matter how simple it seems, kids are really engaged with sidewalk chalk and a jump rope.
I can't wait till Calvin gets home from school today because it's a beautiful day here.
Go outside!
Yeah, let's go outside! Woohoo! Yay! Maybe we'll do another hour outside today.
10 hours.
10 hours today?
Yeah, please, Mom.
So Cal has been loving this. We've really just focused on spending more time outside. He's been tracking his hours. We're over 40 hours already. For more information, you can print out these papers. We're starting with the first 100 hours, and he looks forward to filling it in. He's like, did I do 3 or 4 hours today?
That's a great idea.
So to find out more about the challenge, you can head to today.com. And if you need help getting started, Ginny's 1,000 Hours Outside activity book is available now. But I promise you, just take your kid outside, and their mind just explodes with just wonder. You don't even have to do anything. Their mind just takes over.
It's a great idea.
Back in the day, my mother just, get out, I don't want to see you until the street lights come on.
You did 1,000 hours in a month.
That's right.
And God forbid you said you're bored.
No, that's right. Go play with your brothers and sisters. Get out of here.
So we wanted to highlight 2 women who are making an impact. They are on a mission to change how we view and address climate change by bringing more diversity to the discussion.
Any movement for social change is only as strong as the threads between the people who are participating in it.
Writer and geographer Catherine Wilkinson and marine biologist Ayanna Elizabeth Johnson call climate change the work of our lifetimes.
We are certainly past the point where everyone just focusing on their individual carbon footprint and reducing their own waste is enough.
But solving it, they say, starts with focusing on a bigger problem within the movement itself.
This all kind of started out of a conference you both were at in 2018, and you noticed that there weren't many women up there speaking about these climate issues. I went to school at Rutgers, a very big school, and I was one of 2 girls in my entire meteorology class. So I get it. What did you take away when you noticed that?
In some ways, it was sort of the straw that broke the camel's back. Just seeing who's on the main stage and who's kind of off into this room on the side.
What are the hurdles that women face? Why aren't they the ones on the main stage?
Sexism and racism. To put it bluntly, there's quantitative data on just how underfunded women and women of color in particular are for their climate work.
Their solution? Bringing more women to the forefront by starting a nonprofit project called All We Can Save.
The vision is to think about what it would look like to have gender equality within climate work and how we can help to foster that. We found these very interesting studies showing that when women have more seats in parliament, there are stronger environmental laws passed, they're more well enforced when you have more gender equality in high-level decision-making.
And not to stereotype women per se, but I think by nature, women are nurturers. Do you think that's something that's needed in trying to solve the climate problem?
I love, Dylan, that you use the word nurture. It's a word that we really love, and it's very different from how oftentimes climate has been framed, right? It's like we're gonna fight it and we're kind of in a war against the atmosphere, which is not what we're doing here.
All We Can Save includes an anthology the 2 compiled and released last fall, highlighting work from dozens of the world's leading women working on the issue of climate change, with famous names lending their voices to the audiobook.
Read by Jane Fonda.
Read by me, Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
We wanted this book to create a kaleidoscope. Every time you turn the page and you encounter a slightly different perspective. And I think it's in that bringing together of the lenses that we actually end up seeing things more clearly.
Another part of the initiative includes circles, groups composed mainly of women gathering to foster conversation, inspiration, and action.
It took off in a way that we didn't anticipate. There were like 500 people who wanted to sign up to lead these gatherings, which means there's thousands of people who have been having these deep conversations.
The feedback has been things like, I finally feel like I've found my place in the climate movement.
Together, they hope to tap into the power of women to save Mother Earth.
It would be ridiculous to leave half of the brain power, ingenuity, creativity off the table.
Why do we need gender equality in the climate world?
The most basic answer to that question is that we need it because we want to win.
So Ayanna and Catherine told me that we do have a lot of solutions to climate change in our toolbox. Renewable energy to sustainable farming. It's just a matter of fostering more leaders with the will to make those things a reality. And they say more and more of those leaders are women.
It feels like you have a sector of the population, they're so passionate and they're trying to do all of this work. But I feel like you need the folks who are kind of lackadaisical about it to get on board.
To get behind it. To
really
give it that push.
So I think that's why we're
Just
really
get women behind it.
Right.
We're done.
There you go.
Our Across America journey here in Louisville, Kentucky. Cleveland, reporting on an America rebuilding after the pandemic.
How narrow a window do you have to really get kids back where we would want them to be?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
I'm rolling up my sleeves for science, so I'll survive if I contract this virus. For family dinners, family vacations, family anything. For traveling somewhere beyond my living room. And for the Rebels, there is no greater feeling than being in the stadium and cheering on Ole Miss. And now it's your turn. Roll up your sleeves, America. Plan your vaccine, because every shot counts. Visit planyourvaccine.com and make your plan.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright. Are you ready? We're going to do our part to spread the word on the importance of vaccines, so crucial for reopening America.
A big day around here, a very special naturalization ceremony.
Many of them doctors, nurses, other essential workers.
If you are a nurse, thank you.
Spring has sprung, guys, and we want to fill this season with some fun and surprises.
Yes, this is the face of excitement.
Celebrating Earth Day.
Let's change the world. Love it! Welcome back. Well, this morning, a look at what it takes to make art that lights up a room, literally.
I think you're fascinated by this.
Actually.
You didn't know. I took a trip to Kingston, New York to see how neon signs go from start to finish. It is painstaking work, but I took a shot at it.
They can be seen glowing all over the world, from Times Square to your local bar to our own NBC marquee. Neon signs have been used in incredible ways.
Welcome to Light Bright. Since 1999, this has been the creative center for some of the coolest neon signs lighting up all over the world. And today, we are going to go from start to finish to see just how these signs are made.
Matt Dilling is the founder and creative force behind Light Bright.
What you do is really special. I'm just looking at this, and you get feelings when you look at your work.
Yeah, neon has this really wonderful way of working with what an artist might hand draw, write out, and literally taking it and turning it into lights. One of the most recent installations we just did was for an artist named Glenn Ligon at the Musée d'Orsay in Paris.
Couldn't help but notice some of the commercial items too, like the Chanel sign.
Things like commonplace Coco Chanel logo here, NBC's logo. Things can really pop when they're made into neon.
So obviously making a sign is a skill that takes years to master, but do you think I could learn a few things to
I do think we
go
can.
home with something today?
Absolutely.
Matt set me up with one of his top designers, Frank Kimmick, who's been manipulating neon glass for more than 40 years.
Because your name is Dylan, we're going to make a D.
That seems easy enough, right?
Right. What I'm going to do is get familiar with the fire.
I don't know, fire and gas and glass, it all just seems a little dangerous.
So the object is to get this pliable, sort of like a rubber hose. And let's switch places here.
That's it? I'm already going to jump in and do this?
Right into the deep end of the pool. It's going to be easy.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
lift it up and bend it.
Lift it up and bend it.
Bend it,
Okay.
bend it,
Bending, bending.
And set
There
it
we
down.
go.
And look at that. First go.
Yay! I did it! I made a bend.
For my next lesson, Frank incorporated the blow hose, used to keep the empty space inside the glass from closing off.
Blow, 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 quick. Stop. There you go.
Is that it?
Wow.
I did it again!
But I learned quickly, one small mistake can ruin your piece. Again.
All right. Oh, you blew at the wrong time.
That was bad.
No problem. We got another one.
Okay.
And again.
Shoot! This is hard!
Blow. It's good.
It's okay, right?
Yep, we can use it.
I don't know what to do now.
You can set it down.
Okay.
Next, I spliced in the electrodes that will power the light using a hand torch.
Touch them together. Okay, keep heating, and well done.
One last bend, and the D was complete.
Yay, a D!
Then it was time to light up my creation.
So we have clear glass, but say I want to make this D red. How would we do that?
Okay, we're going to put neon gas in there, and neon glows red in an electric discharge.
So if we wanted different colors,
We could use argon, and argon glows with a soft violet light. And if we put a small amount of mercury, it will glow blue. Open that, and then you're going to press that. And it's going to come on, it's going to make a lot of noise, and you're probably going to get scared.
okay. Oh, I had no idea all this went into making a sign.
It glows white at first until we add the neon gas.
Open that.
Okay, ready?
All right.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's red.
When I tell my story, I don't tell it for people to feel sad for me, but to see a strong person and for them to know that they could also be, as strong.
Shalom Black's story began as a young girl growing up in Nigeria.
My mom had a restaurant where me and my siblings would basically help her out. I think the only days that we had off was Sunday, and that is when we go to church. My mom would cook a whole big pot and we all ate together. So that has always just been special, to me.
When she was 9 years old, a mishap in the restaurant changed her life forever.
I decided to go lay under one of the big tables. And my mom has a routine where when she's done frying for the night, she would take the big pan of hot oil and place it next to, the table. And then out of nowhere, the big pan of hot oil literally just fell on top of my younger sister and I.
Shalom sustained third-degree burns on more than 20% of her body. After 4 months in the hospital and another year recovering at home, she and her sister moved to the U.S. to receive better care.
I was like, okay, cool, I can have a whole new start and probably have friends that would care for me and see me beyond my scars. But things didn't really change, it kind of got worse.
She found comfort and inspiration online.
I was just going on YouTube to watch music videos, and then one day I just stumbled upon a makeup video and I was just amazed. Just picking on things that people would do and then practice it on myself. So I decided, you know what, let me give this a try. Hey guys!
Shalom's makeup transformation videos went viral, not only for her artistry, but for her authenticity. In one 2018 post, Shalom recorded her crush taking off her makeup and wig, layer by layer.
Oh, that's dope. I have to give you a hug.
I decided I want to take that power back where I'm not hiding. It was very scary for me, but it felt great. To this day, when I meet a lot of people, that's the video that people say, this is what I found you from. This is why I'm subscribed to you. People are not just subscribed to me because I know how to do makeup, mostly because of how I made them feel.
Today, Shalom has amassed more than 1.5 million subscribers on her YouTube channel.
Remember to always be your own kind of beautiful.
Shalom's main message, beauty and confidence come from within.
I don't wake up every morning and be so happy about having a scar, but I don't think I would take it back. I believe that everything happens for a reason, and this is the reason that it happened, and I am serving a purpose with it. So I yeah, I don't think I would be the same Shalon.
Hey, Today All Day, we've got a great show for you on this Wednesday morning, including an all-day exclusive chat you can only see here. But let's start off with Pop Start. Carson gives us a look at the trailer for the Sopranos prequel, The Many Saints of Newark, starring the late actor James Gandolfini's son, Michael, as a young Tony Soprano. Take a look.
Hump Day edition of Pop Star, baby.
Big edition right here.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Pop Star doubleheader today, guys.
Oh, all right.
Settle in to the classic here. We'll kick things off. The trailer. Everybody talking about the trailer for the highly anticipated Sopranos prequel. It's called The Many Saints of Newark. The film set in 1967 New Jersey. We'll take a look at an adolescent Tony Soprano being played by James Gandolfini's son, Michael. James, of course, who played the legendary mob boss on HBO's hit series for 6 seasons, passed away in 2013. His son has since made a name for himself in Hollywood, acting in HBO's The Deuce and Tom Holland's latest film, Cherry. Let's take a look at the first trailer for The Many Saints of Newark.
You're my nephew. I want to do whatever I can to help you. My gift to you.
I want to go to college. I can't get caught with like this.
Look, you take the speakers, right? At the same time, you say to yourself, this is the last time I'm ever going to steal something. It's that simple.
As far as your nephew goes,
I'm listening.
Stay out of his life.
I mean, this is going to be good, guys. How much does Michael look like his father? I mean, it's really crazy. The film's got, as you saw, Ray Liotta there, all-star cast, Vera Farmiga's in it, John Bernthal, Leslie Odom Jr., that's just to name a few, so it's packed. This thing's going to be great. The only problem is it's set to theaters and stream on HBO Max in October. October 1st for that. Next up, reboot in the works for the streaming service Paramount Plus, originating as a spin-off of Cheers. The hit sitcom ran for 11 seasons. It wrapped up in 2004, and now Dr. Fraser Crane himself is chiming in on what fans can expect from the new series. Kelsey Grammer breaking the news in an interview on the current status of that revival.
We don't actually have a date when we're going to start filming. We're still kind of breaking the story a little bit. We're doing a polish now. We think we're going to get most of the actors back. I'm certainly hopeful that we will. We have a story to tell, you know, that can actually be told with or without them, honestly. But I want them back because that's what I always dreamed of. I thought we should explore all their lives in their third act. And so
that's old school TV talk right there. Yeah, we're working on the polish right. We're on the polish right now. We do the pilot, then the polish, then the release, then the
with
this,
or
then the
without
that.
you.
It's happening.
That's what I want.
As for when we can expect a new Frasier to air, Grammer saying likely the beginning of next year. Next up, one of my favorite movies of all time, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the iconic movie led by the late, great Gene Wilder as the fantastical chocolatier. It's celebrating 50 years. And in honor of the Golden Ticket's golden anniversary, Entertainment Tonight sat down with members of the cast to share memories from that set. Michael Bollner, who played the gluttonous little boy Augustus Gloop, he revealed exactly how they pulled off this terrifying fall when he fell into the chocolate river. Take a look.
Michael, what do you remember most about that famous scene, falling into the river and the tube?
Augustus! It was very cold. It was stinking water. That they stopped the water at the right time. Otherwise, I would have been drowned.
That's scary.
Yeah, really, it was.
And the star of the film, Peter Osham, who played Charlie, actually went on to become a veterinarian. Willy Wonka was the only film he ever did.
Wow. Well, if you're going to do one film,
that's the one to do. It is.
Wow.
It really is. Children don't do well in that
when
movie.
they go through the ride. The tunnel with the chicken getting its head cut off. That was still does it for me. A little psychedelic too. Finally, the results are in from round one of the Today Show barbecue bracket. Yesterday, my friends, got kicked off with a smoky 16, battling it out in an attempt to inch closer and snag that title of best barbecue dish. Shall we take a look at the board and see how it all went down? Hamburgers, no shock here, crushing grilled chicken, 85% of the vote. And it was a tight race between grilled veggies and coleslaw. I'm surprised it was even tied at all. But veggies took down coleslaw in the narrow win with 51% of the votes. Did you?
Yeah.
I
Wow.
It's old school.
The only ones.
I like coleslaw.
Despite all my rhetoric of the new pork at 135 degrees, according to FDA now.
Yeah.
It lost to sausage.
Not a surprise.
This might have Savannah had something to do with this too.
Yeah. Oh, I
Nobody
voted
gets a good
sausage.
pork chop.
I voted early enough.
That's a problem.
It's the Midwest, you know. Too bad. Corn on the cob, put
Yes.
down
Yeah.
macaroni salad. That's a
course.
no-brainer.
No, come on.
Across the board, some folks may be surprised, but ribs defeated hot dogs.
Yes.
Close.
Yes,
54%
that's how I went, baby.
It's a barbecue.
I'm shocked.
It's not a barbecue.
Wait, hot
dogs
I'm not
are a
surprised by
cookout.
that.
Yeah.
That's not a barbecue.
Cookout's not
No,
a
they are
barbecue.
not the
Cookout
same.
and barbecue is
thing. Not the same.
It is the pinnacle barbecue food.
It is
ribs.
not a barbecue.
I agree.
It's a cookout.
Cookout or-
Barbecue is when you cook indirect heat, low and slow. A cookout is when you cook directly over an open flame, burgers, hot dogs, wings, things like that.
I also think barbecues are planned days before.
Exactly.
Cookouts come together morning of.
Exactly.
Wait, where do you come down? Ribs or hot dogs?
I'm with Tom. I think ribs. Right? It's just
Ribs.
Yeah,
the same thing I felt about pulled pork and
Listen.
chicken wings. We all
Okay, guys, hot dog nation, I am with you.
All right.
skewers didn't stand a chance against steak. So that,
Come on.
that happened.
That's ridiculous.
No shocker there. And then finally, chicken wings, no match for pulled pork. 64% of the vote went to pulled pork.
Wow.
Which, you know,
I voted for pulled
we eat a lot
too.
of chicken wings, but
Yeah.
pulled pork's, you know, special.
Yeah.
I don't like wings.
But a lot of people.
Potato salad took down baked
Wings
beans,
and
but no one
ribs,
cared.
guys, they're bones, okay?
Head over to today.com.
Wings and ribs
Wings are not bones.
With this much meat and a lot of sauce.
This is New York.
Do you like
They're-
bones?
Savannah,
This
it's
hurts
not
when you say this,
quantity,
Savannah.
It's
It hurts
quality.
my soul.
I'm sorry, but sausages, hot dogs.
Atomic wings across the street.
Yeah.
We just, I mean, you've been deprived.
Have your
of a good
saucy
wing.
bones. Have your saucy bones.
We gotta convert her, guys.
Okay.
We gotta get some ribs.
This is like if we're dating in college and I open the door for you and you're like, oh my God, like
Savannah,
I've
we're
never
going to
seen
do
that.
ribs.
That's a knock on your last
gonna change
boyfriend.
What are you talking
Chivalry is
about?
alive. Come on.
How did this get
You've had
into
bad wings.
That's right. And by the
Had bad
way,
wings.
I'm going to take it another step. Lamb ribs. You will go nuts.
Okay.
Lamb ribs.
No, I won't.
Today.com/food to cast your vote on the next
Do you
round.
like bones with sauce?
I love ribs and I don't like chicken wings.
Coming up next on Today Talks, Dylan tells us a powerful story about identical twins that save each other's lives. Not once, but twice. Stay with us.
Ready, actors.
An indie horror film, a talented young actress, and a deadly shot. Dateline's newest podcast, Killer Roll.
Action.
Subscribe for free wherever you get your podcasts. Congratulations to Lester Holt, the most trusted TV news anchor in America, on receiving the prestigious Edward R. Murrow Lifetime Achievement Award for a career dedicated to excellence in journalism.
I joined Ellen on her set. What's been a difficult year for her personally and for her show.
Very few people go through such huge public humiliation. How can I be an example of strength and perseverance if I give up and run away?
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Right now on NBC News Now.
They've done things like installing cameras to help alert Border Patrol to people crossing. They are escaping a number of conditions there, violence and persecution in their home countries.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app. Killer Roll, the new podcast from Dateline. Subscribe now wherever you listen.
Welcome back. Today in the third hour, Dylan has the incredible story about the true bond of sisterhood. It's about twin sisters who stuck together throughout their lives and how one of them gave the ultimate gift of life in more ways than one.
We are back with an incredible story from our Sisterhood series. Twins, of course, share a very special bond, but the sisters you're about to meet go even beyond that. Their connection is life-saving and life-changing.
We have each other, and there's never going to be a moment where we don't have each other.
Ever since sisters Billie Joe Rose and Bobby Joe Sullivan were born, they were inseparable. After all, they are identical twins.
What is that special connection that you two have that other people might not have?
When we fight, it's like instant forgiveness. Growing up, we always had a playmate. We would always hold hands from our little bunk beds when we go to sleep.
But at 7 years old, hospital visits separated the sisters when Billie was diagnosed with leukemia. Bobby was determined to help.
When bone marrow transplant is on the table, Bobby, did you know right away you would be a match?
They asked me if I wanted to be a donor, and I was like, yes, absolutely. When it came down to it, they were like, well, if they're twins, if they're identical, this could be 100%. And lo and behold, it was.
Billy underwent a bone marrow transplant donated by Bobby, and the procedure was successful.
We were 100% identical, right down to like every last cell and everything.
I would get tested like it was every month, and then I think it was like the 15-year mark, they said that I was cured.
Life went on. They both experienced the loss of their brother. They got married, and then 25 years later, Billy's cancer was back. But this time, she was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer.
It was just like shocking, but they said it was very treatable. And then I went through chemotherapy again, and then I opted to do the double mastectomy because I did not want this reoccurring in any way, shape, or form.
And Bobby, how is this all impacting you?
In my head, I'm like, why? Why is this always happening to her? Why can't I take some of this?
After undergoing cancer treatment, Billy wanted to start a family of her own, but struggled with infertility. So she turned to reproductive endocrinologist Dr. Kara Goldman at Northwestern Medicine to discuss her options.
It became very clear that her ovarian function was irreparably damaged by her chemotherapy. And so she would be needing to consider egg donation. And she immediately said, my sister Bobby is in. She has been talking about this with me for years. And it was the plan from there on.
Was there ever a moment of you being nervous to give up an egg?
Not one bit. So then when the doctors did mention, hey, do you want to do this? I was like, all right, yeah.
After consulting their doctor, it was decided. Through in vitro fertilization, Bobby would donate her eggs while Billy would carry her baby. And when it came time for the embryo transfer, Billy brought her sister to Dr. Goldman's office.
What was that moment like?
There were tears, there was hand-holding, and just a tremendous amount of joy.
As much as I wanted my husband to be there, it wouldn't have been possible without Bobby.
8 days later, tests confirmed Billy was pregnant. This May, Billy received an early Mother's Day surprise. Her daughter, June Jo Rose, was born 4 weeks before her due date.
What were the emotions going through your head? Because this is coming after a whole process to even be able to have and give birth to your own child.
It was just a whole thing of thanking Bobby for being able to do this, to make this all possible. I have a family now, and it was just like the best thing ever.
If anybody's doing the math, this is twice now you've given life.
Yeah.
We joke around like when I'm older, like if I need a kidney or something, I'm like, I know who I'm coming to.
Can we meet her?
Yep.
Hi, June. Bobby, seeing Billy holding June, what does it mean to have been able to give this gift to your sister?
To see the smile on her face and the smile on her husband's face, I would do it 100 times over again, without a doubt.
Such a special bond. So to take this even further, after Bobby donated her eggs to Billy, then Bobby ended up getting pregnant with her third child.
Oh.
So then there was a little bit of time there, about 2 months, when they were pregnant at the same time. And you know, for Bobby, it was never a question. Whatever you need, I will do whatever you need.
Sisters.
And yeah, it's just an incredible.
It makes you want to be a better sibling. I have a little brother, and it makes you're like, oh my gosh, I've done nothing for my brother. You know?
Text him right now.
All right.
Coming up on Hoda and Jenna, we reveal our Tuesday outfit.
Right now on NBC News Now.
Here in Chicago, about 20,000 middle schoolers returning to school today.
They also took advantage of existing vaccine distribution networks throughout Alaska.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app. Make the most of your day with
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Savannah and Hoda bring you what you must know. The biggest moments of the morning.
One Republic!
Exclusive interviews.
Why did it work for you?
You're right. I am more talented than the rest.
And important headlines.
Major medical news this morning.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule. Streaming every day on Today All Day. Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends at Today in a whole new way.
today in 30.
We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Jill Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today Food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Get ready. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Are you ready?
We're going to do our part to spread the word on the importance of vaccines, so crucial for reopening America.
A big day around here. A very special naturalization ceremony.
Many of them doctors, nurses, other essential workers.
If you are a nurse, thank you.
Spring has sprung, guys, and we want to fill this season with some fun and surprise.
Yes.
This is the face of excitement.
Celebrating Earth Day.
Let's change the world.
Love it!
Killer Roll, the new podcast from Dateline. Subscribe now wherever you listen.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Kids, it's time to reveal our outfits.
Yes.
These were chosen by our friends. You guys all sent us options.
So
You
these
sent us
were
the links.
Hoda's.
Yeah, by the way, the blue and the striped blue
Amazon.
one is an Amazon dress. It's awesome.
Wait, did you like, what about the paisley one?
I loved them all. I loved every
Can you
single
wear 'em
choice.
tomorrow?
Well, we haven't told them what our other one
Oh,
what
that's
our winner
right.
is.
Yeah, except for they can see your neck.
Oh, right.
Okay, these
here
are my
yours.
choices.
Okay, they can't see your neck. Okay, we're gonna.
Do we want to
stand
say who
out.
they were chosen by? We'll do it in a
after
second.
we reveal. Okay, ready?
One, two,
and three. Oh, that's cute.
ta-da!
Super cute colors. Jenna's dress was chosen by Claudette from Reddington Beach, Florida. It's a Farm Rio dress. It's available at Anthropology.com. Claudette.
Yeah, thank you, Claudette. Good
Claudette
job.
looks super cute,
Claudette
like she
can
knows
dress
how to
really
pick.
well, and
Yeah.
Hoda's jumpsuit was selected by Julie.
Go, Julie.
Out
Go,
in
Julie.
Lakeside, California. It's the Nina Leopard wide leg halter jumpsuit. That's a lot of names.
By Kohl's. By the way, it's roomy. It's
You- don't
comfy,
you think you
cozy.
wear that-
I could sleep in it. It's so comfy.
But that yellow
and it
on
has
you?
pockets. I love pockets.
This is our vibe.
This is our vibe. This is our cut. And this cut looks good on just about everybody. It's like that kind of cut.
Julie
that
knew
works.
what she was doing.
Anyway, we love it.
Is this your favorite?
Yeah, I like this one. Was this your favorite?
I don't want to be rude to Claudette, but this is something I never thought I'd wear. It has cheetahs on it.
By the way, it looks so bright and
But I'm
happy.
into it.
You know what? You look bright and happy, and we needed color.
I think
right?
so too. You actually like it? Thank you, Gavin. Gavin just mumbled.
Don't you like when people say the word actually? You actually look younger. You actually don't look 56.
No, I've heard 1,000 times, no, you're actually smart.
You're actually skinnier than I thought.
Actually. Oh, in real life, you actually look pretty.
Yeah, I think the word actually needs to be removed. Just extricate it.
It's the same, and it's not actually the same, but my dad hates the word literally because they'll be like, it's literally hot. And it's like, oh.
Well, it is. Oh, it's
not
literally on fire.
Yeah, but the truth is, it's not, but also it isn't literally hot. You don't need it. You just say it's hot. It's redundant.
Well, what if you say, I'm literally burning up?
Yeah, you're
That's
not literally.
not
But
true.
there's a couple different ways to look at it. You don't also say it's literally hot. That's
When
redundant.
do you say literally?
It's redundant. You just
But
say
when
it's
do you ever
hot.
say it?
You don't ever say it.
Well, why is it a
And
word?
by the way, our kids.
Why is it a word in the
excuse me.
dictionary?
You use it when you're talking about books. Is it literal or figurative? Okay. So when you're talking about a literal something, it actually has happened.
This is literally a microphone.
Well, that's true, but all you have to say is this is a microphone. The point is it's overused. The point is the overuse. Get it?
No, because I'm not
Do you
want to
call my dad to talk about it?
Yes. Can someone please get him on? Oh.
Do you want to?
Yes, I do. I do, actually.
Okay.
This is good.
He
Okay.
may be busy, but let's go ahead.
Let's
Do
try.
you not understand?
Okay, I want to know about the word literally.
Okay, I'm going to call him.
This is
This has
literally
gone
a phone
totally
call.
rogue.
This is literally a phone call. Oh, God, you're in trouble. This is not going to go well.
Why did I do this? I feel like I put on this
It's
leopard
9
dress.
o'clock. It's 9 o'clock on
I feel like
Central.
I put on this leopard dress and I just went totally wild. He might be busy. He's unanswering.
Wait, he might. Just give him 4 rings. Sometimes he's busy. Maybe he's riding on the exercise bike and now he's mad because he has to get off it because it's you.
Also, he knows the show goes on right now.
Oh, he punched the button. No, he hit decline. You know why? Because if it rings 4 times, it's a decline. Has to go 5 or 6.
Should I try him again?
Oh, yes.
Should I just keep it going?
Yes, he's going to be real mad. He's
Remember
probably
when
in
we
a
talked
meeting.
about the ex-boyfriends who just harass? We harassed.
Oh my God, he's in a meeting. If
No, I
it
put on
stops
my-
after 2 rings, then you're in trouble. if he declines you?
He's not answering.
He might.
Should we let it go?
No, just wait a second. If it goes 4
I can't
rings.
even remember why I was calling him.
Why were we?
Because literally.
Because it's literally a problem.
See, it's not literally, it is a problem.
No, but it's literally.
You don't need to say that, though. It's just a problem.
Oh, on 4 rings. We have to find out if 4 rings is legit for going to voicemail or if
Maybe he'll call back.
I doubt it. Okay. He literally might. All right.
You don't get it. Okay, but we have to show you, because remember, we just did that weird quick change, and then my personality changed once I put this dress on.
Yeah. Wait, can I see your FaceTime thing? I just want to see if it's red or dark.
Okay, how do I?
just want to see. Just go to FaceTime. Oh, yeah, you FaceTimed him. Okay. You have him down as Hefe? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So there's some big movie news.
Oh,
okay.
I cannot wait to see this.
The Sopranos. Okay, 14 years.
I thought it's called The Sopranos.
I say Sopranos.
Oh my gosh, what is happening today?
Is it Sopranos or it's literally The Sopranos?
No, you don't say literally because it just is The Sopranos.
It literally is Wednesday. Okay. 14 years. I'm just harassing you.
I know you are. Okay, after 14 years the series ended, we're getting a first look at the new prequel film. Okay, it's called The Many Saints of Newark, and it stars Michael Gandolfini as a young Tony Soprano. So Michael is James's son.
I know, it's really uncanny, but take a look.
You're my nephew. I want to do whatever I can to help you. My gift to you.
I want to go to college. I can't get called for like this.
Look, you take the speakers, right? At the same time, you say to yourself, this is the last time I'm ever going to steal something. It's that simple.
As far as your nephew goes,
I'm listening.
Stay out of his life.
I mean,
they look so much
they
alike.
look literally like the same person.
No, they do not. Why are you overusing it?
because
they just look the same. You don't need the word. The point is it's overused. And it's so overused that my child's like, hey, Mom, it's literally time for us to eat breakfast. I'm like, it's 8. It's just time to eat breakfast.
You're literally right. By the way, The Many Saints of Newark, that hits theaters October 1st.
I can't wait. I literally cannot. Okay. Another trailer that dropped yesterday is the live-action movie Clifford the Big Red Dog, which is a beloved children's book character. But people online are a little divided. Does Clifford look like a lovable dog, or does he look a little terrifying? Let's look.
Let's see.
Oh, he's so cute.
He's cute.
Shouldn't we try to hide him or something?
It's New York. No one will even notice.
Pizza. Just a big. Whew. Why don't we get you on the scale here, bud? I'm just gonna write heavy.
Okay, why is America split? I mean, that is the most adorable, huge puppy in the world.
He's the cutest red puppy I've ever seen in my life.
Cutest. Look.
But Comedy Central did tweet, okay, hear us out. Godzilla versus Kong or Kong versus Clifford?
Like it. Yeah, that I mean, you get it. Like there are a lot of things that kids find scary. You know what I mean?
I don't think they would find that big red dog scary.
No.
I think they'd find him lovable and furry.
I think they would too. All right, let's give it a little shout out. So is your garden the envy of your neighborhood?
No. Well, you weren't talking to me. Okay, if it's so, we want to check it out. We're looking for outdoor spaces full of beautiful flowers and lush landscapes. Send us photos and videos of your beautiful yard just at hodaandjenna.com and click the connect button.
Yeah, pretty cool. We'd love to see those.
Today Talks continues after the break. We have an exclusive chat with Hoda and me you can only see here on Today All Day.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Make the most of your day with
Today in
30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule, streaming every day on Today All Day.
It does seem as if this White House doesn't want to bring a lot of high-profile attention to the issue. What efforts might depoliticize vaccine hesitancy? What happens if we don't act on police reform this year? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Make the most of your day with
Today in
30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule, streaming every day on Today All Day.
Our Across America journey here in Louisville, Kentucky.
Cleveland.
reporting on an America rebuilding after the pandemic. How narrow a window do you have to really get kids back where we would want them to be?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
What's about to happen on our plaza is you're all going to get your very first COVID vaccine.
I'm excited.
She's excited. 3, 2, 1, champion!
So grateful.
Is that close to prom?
Here we go.
Killer Roll, the new podcast from Dateline. Subscribe now wherever you listen.
Welcome back to Today Talks and our exclusive content you can only see here on Today All Day.
You're bold, man. You're bold. You become, you know what I realized? People say when you put on an outfit, you become a different person. And I always felt like I don't care about what I wear. I never noticed.
Yes.
But I think today you're proof that putting on an outfit emboldened you.
It really did.
An outfit. You know, you say you don't care about what you wear, but I have to say, like, I can tell when you love what you wear. I can tell how you walk in the room. And I can also tell when you don't love what you wear.
What do you think about this today?
I think you're in between. I think you think it's like something that you're not used to.
Yes.
But it's bright and poppy, and since everybody loves it, I think you're feeling that love.
But you're right. I mean, I say I don't care, and I really don't. But at this, meaning when somebody says, you know,
I like
spilled
this.
on you, or
oh, you don't care about that.
No. But it's true. Like, have you ever been in kind of a sluggish
Yeah, I think
sluggish mood?
Yes.
Where you're laying around and you're in sweatpants and a tee without like a bra.
Yes.
And then you're like, I have to get up and get dressed.
I got to do something.
The second you get dressed, you feel better.
Yes, you do. It's true. It's like you've got it. It's like taking care of something.
Yes.
You know, like just telling yourself. I was reading this thing, and they were talking about how if you make a promise to yourself each day for even a small thing, let's say you make yourself a promise, I'm going to walk X number, or I'm going to pause before I eat the chips, or I'm going to read one chapter.
Yes.
Not a big goal, but a small goal. But they say if you do that small thing, you've totally realigned because now you're controlling your life. It's not controlling you. You're not just sitting back going, I didn't know. It's like, I'm doing this one thing today. So I was thinking about doing that.
That's such a good
Isn't
idea.
that good?
And you know what I think you should do?
What?
Is you should write it down, because it's so funny. You know, we've been in the car. I've been in the car a lot recently, and I've like found myself one day just scrolling. I was reading some articles, but wasting time mainly. And I was like, no more.
Stop.
And I wrote down what I want my morning routine to be. So it's like listen to my Calm app, reply, read my Christian meditation, reply to my text, then study, and then if I have time left over, read.
Use that.
I don't want to use the time to scroll.
By the way, you're right. And making that choice, because sometimes you feel like it's out of control, because I was actually on a train going home, and I was Candy Crushing. And then all of a sudden, literally, I'm not kidding. It's so old. It's so 80s.
But you loved to Candy Crush.
But little listen what I did. I hit stop on it. I was like, why am I doing this? It's mindless. My eyes hurt. It's not working.
My head hurt.
And instead, I'm listening to a couple of great lectures.
Yes.
I put the thing in. I listened, and I just decided, like, it's not out of our control.
No.
Like, you're making a decision.
I will say this is my tip, because even with reading and I'm like, can't believe this has become so addicting to me that it's hindered my reading. But this is what I do.
What do you do?
In the car.
Turn it off.
If I want to do something else, like read a book, I'd either turn it off or I put it away. At night, at home, when I get into bed, I plug it in. Over there, get into bed, and I read my book.
I think we feel like everything's out of our control. And they say, like, I love that. Just make one tiny decision of something you're going to control tomorrow that's different. If you're going to make a change in your life today by 5 o'clock, what would your change be? Because you can do it. It can all be done by 5 o'clock today.
It's so true.
One
and there
thing.
is something about writing it down, like on a little post-it note, put it on your mirror. Okay, today, this is what I said. I'll drink this amount of water, or I'll walk, or I won't eat I'll take a breath before I eat.
I should have done that this morning, and I'm going to do it
Did
tomorrow.
you have potato chips?
I did.
You told me you were over them.
I know, but
It's because you wore yellow. That just sabotaged you.
You're right. That is it.
Every time you wore yellow, you eat Lay's.
Well, wasn't this fascinating? Hey, it was an incredible episode of Today Talks. Keep watching for more of Today All Day.
this crazy year, what are you looking forward to the most when life really gets back to normal?
I'm looking forward to going to restaurants and museums and just kind of like spending a day wandering around, interacting with just all that stuff that we've just missed, like nothing even so crazy, just kind of like getting back out into the world and experiencing sensory things.
Seeing humans, making eye contact.
Yeah.
I know.
Exactly.
It's an adjustment. You actually had COVID early on.
Yeah.
How do you feel now? I know you had some long haul symptoms. Are you feeling better?
Yeah. I feel better. I sometimes they come back a little bit, but I think I'm better and better. It's been pretty crazy though. It's been pretty wild. I'm not gonna lie.
You famously, I guess kind of famously, you and your hubby got married but didn't move in together right away. Then you moved in together and the pandemic struck. So you went from kind of having your own space to having zero space and 24/7, 365. How was that?
It was amazing. I married the right dude. Like, he is the best, and there's like nobody better to be stuck with. So I am glad we moved in together before the pandemic hit.
Yeah, it's like from 0 to 100, but thank goodness that it could have gone in a different direction. Like that, it's affirming that you're actually like, okay, you're the right person.
That's a good point. No, you're definitely right.
How has it been home with your kids? Because he's got 2 teenagers, you've got 2 teenagers.
It's been the best. I mean, it's like, there are some really significant, profound silver linings from this crazy 12 months. And that time with the kids has been definitely on the top of the list. And, we were just saying last night how it was amazing to, with teenagers, they're usually having dinner. Like, we always eat all together, but then it's like they're rushing off to do X, Y, and Z. And for the last 12 months, we've all just had these long, lingering, wonderful conversations at meals and, visits where, my daughter will just come in and kind of lay on the couch and kind of catch up. And, that to me has been the most precious gift of this whole time.
I mean, it's a dream. Your teenagers, when I was a teenager, I found my parents to be deeply embarrassing and uncool. But your kids are lucky. They have two cool parents. Like, do they see it that way?
No. My daughter thinks we're totally embarrassing. My daughter makes fun of us all the time, and she always has. It's pretty funny. I think my son thinks we're pretty cool, maybe. But he just turned 15, so maybe he'll start to get a different opinion soon.
He might turn into the skeptical, dark teenager.
Yes.
It happens. Well, you have Goop is just going great. You continue to be a mogul. You've got a new skincare line. You have a gadget that shan't be mentioned that's sold out. Can you believe? Are you ever still surprised that this has just taken off the way it has?
Yeah, it's so funny because when you work so hard at something for so many years, and it feels like it's almost growing in increments that you can barely notice. So I think it's so important sometimes to stop and be like, wow, we actually got somewhere. Like, we're a brand that means something to people, and we're so proud of the things that we make and what we put into the world, and people are actually reading it and coming to the site. So I've been trying actually to stop and take stock a little bit more and appreciate a little bit more lately what we've been able to build.
You've got this new skincare line. Apple, your daughter, is actually a big part of the launch. How did that come about?
Well, this, so we have a couple of different lines. One is the Goop Glow line. So it's all about like super healthy, glowy skin and how you get it from the inside out, and amazing ingestible product and topical product. And we were doing this moisturizer, this light glow moisturizer, and partly because she's very into makeup and skincare, and she loves the Glow line. And so she was like, you guys should make a light moisturizer that has gives you like a little bit of a glow. So she was sort of part of the product development process. And so that when it came out, I was like, oh my gosh, should I let her be in the picture or not? Because she wanted to be in the picture, so we decided to let her. But it's nice when it feels like your family's contributing to what you're doing and the things that you're making, and to have that kind of support. And like my mom was a model for me last summer with our Goop jeans line. And so it's so nice to have like these two generations of women who love you being supportive. It's so sweet.
Well, I love her TikTok video.
First, my mom drinks her Goop Glow Super Powder, and she eats nothing except for dates and almond butter.
She's basically trolling you.
That's what she does all the time. That's what I was telling you. Constantly.
She's saying my mom is always, she's been on a cleanse since I was born, and she's always drinking a smoothie and making candles, and she's even teasing you about Goop's focus on a certain female body part.
Yep, that's right. I get it all day long. I mean, she's so funny. It's funny, one of my best friends from growing up, a guy named Tony Liness, he was like, because my father was really funny, and he always says she is the non-recessive Paltrow humor gene.
She is really like, she's sassy. She's super sassy.
Oh yeah, big time. She's powerful, and she's articulate and funny, and I love that kind of dry, sassy sense of humor.
Do you think she'll go into the family business? At this point, what is the family business? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which one? I don't know. She's very, it depends day to day. She's really interested in a lot of things. She's really interested in history and political science and law. And, she loves the art. She's amazing so I don't know. I think both of my kids are sort of like, we don't want to think about what we want to do. We just kind of want to see what unfolds. And, because I think as parents, we're like, wow, I wonder what direction they're going to go in.
But they have time. We don't have to push it.
They do.
Yeah.
It's true.
Right now on NBC News Now.
They've done things like installing cameras to help alert Border Patrol to people crossing. They are escaping a number of conditions there, violence and persecution in their home countries.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Are you ready?
We're going to do our part to spread the word on the importance of vaccines, so crucial for reopening America.
A big day around here, a very special naturalization ceremony.
Many of them doctors, nurses, other essential workers.
If you are a nurse, thank you.
Spring has sprung, guys, and we want to fill this season with some fun and surprises.
Yes, this is the face of excitement.
Celebrating Earth Day. Let's change the world. Love it!
I joined Ellen on her set. What's been a difficult year for her personally and for her show.
Very few people go through such huge public humiliation. How can I be an example of strength and perseverance if I give up and run away?
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Congratulations to Lester Holt, the most trusted TV news anchor in America, on receiving the prestigious Edward R. Murrow Lifetime Achievement Award for a career dedicated to excellence in journalism.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Killer Roll, the new podcast from Dateline. Subscribe now wherever you listen.
I was listening to a podcast you did, and I thought it was so interesting. You talked about your dad, and you talked about your upbringing, and even though you had two famous, successful parents, and you had a lot of opportunity, it was so interesting to me. You talked about how your dad kind of said, once you're out on your own, you're on your own. You can go for it in acting, you can go for it in Hollywood, but it's on you. I mean, I thought that was really cool and interesting, but also hard to do as a parent. Like, do you feel you could pull that off now?
You know, I think that was one of the most valuable things he gave me, was saying, you know, look, you're growing up in a privileged environment, but this is my money. This is not yours. And when you leave home, we're done. Like, I'm never giving you a penny. And he stuck to it. Like, it was a great lesson. And I had to learn how to completely fend for myself. And I thought that he would offer a safety net, and he didn't.
Wow.
So it was a wonderful way to understand what I was made of and what I was capable of. And, you know, it knocked any part of me that had the spoiled part of my upbringing, like, knocked it right out. And I really admire him for sticking to it, because, as you say, like, that would pull at my heartstrings, but he stuck to it.
Do you feel like that's something you'll be able to do, or do you want to do? I think about this all the time with my own kids.
You know, I think it's really important that children learn to create a life that they are in charge of, and to have that agency. And so I always encourage them. You know, it's both of my kids. Like, my daughter has had 2 retail jobs. Like, I think just from witnessing me work and respecting that, and the freedom of, you know, that it gives her, you know, to buy the crop top that she wants to buy. And I think it's one of the most important things that we can do to our children is instill that work ethic.
You are also in the midst of the Goop Lab season 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big viewer.
Thank you.
Are you doing anything adventurous this time around?
This season is different. It's kind of a different, like, the content. The setup is a bit different. So I'm not doing anything too daring. I actually had an idea for the show where I wanted to. So I'm trying to convince Netflix for next time. Like, I have an idea that's might be a little too daring, but it's been so incredible to film it, and I'm so excited for this version. They never let you talk about, you know, what it is, but it's going to be really good.
Wait, so do I get to hear the daring idea, the pitch?
I don't think so, but if they agree to it, then I'll tell you first. How's that?
I'll take it. I actually want to do one of these episodes with you. I want to go do one of these crazy, like, ice baths, or I don't know.
Okay, okay. Well, you'll come be my partner in one of them next time.
Yeah, unless it's jumping out of a plane or something, then I'm too.
Okay,
yeah.
I don't want to do that either.
Okay, good. We agree. I sort of been circling around it because I don't think there's a way to talk about it on morning television. But you do have some products that keep selling out. Mm-hmm. And are you surprised?
You know, no, in a way, I'm not surprised. Look, I think that our sexuality is such an important part of who we are. And, you know, even the fact, like, if you think about it, we're on morning television, so we can't talk about female pleasure.
I just bleeped that out. I just bleeped it out.
But, you know, it sort of gives you an insight into how culturally it's still taboo. And one of the things we really believe in at Goop is kind of eliminating shame from these topics.
Have you done anything where you've, like, in this space where you've kind of shocked yourself or surprised yourself that you're talking about it, whether it's the candle or the gadget?
Right. I think it's all sort of part of this thing of, like, bringing female sexuality into the culture and talking about it in a way that kind of demystifies and destigmatizes it. And so I actually think it's great when people are a bit surprised, or, you know, by some of the product. And, you know, it's funny because the candle was a complete accident, and because it just started as a joke and then it became a product. But it's come to be a talisman, you know, for me, of, like, this really important moment to kind of embrace all aspects of ourselves and not feel that kind of shame.
Is your mother ever like, Gwyneth, I can't believe.
Always.
Because Ms. Blythe Danner is very elegant. and very proper, it seems to me.
She is, but you know, even proper ladies have sexuality too.
This is part of your legacy now, you know? Like,
good.
Really? Okay, so if it's in like the first paragraph of your obituary, Gwyneth Paltrow, Oscar winner, and, you know,
and
the candle.
Yes, exactly. Hopefully it'll all be, you know, I'll be an amalgam of many things, as all women are.
What about acting? Because you did The Politician, you did, I know you are totally consumed with your company.
Yeah.
But do you still want to pursue acting? Are we going to see you on screen again soon?
Well, you'll see me on screen in the Goop Lab.
Yeah.
For sure. And, you know, it's not really my focus right now. I think if you do see me on screen, it would probably be, you know, something that my husband was doing. Otherwise, I got to focus on my day job.
I know, he's the only one who lured you back to Hollywood.
That's right.
You are kind of a lightning rod. We always talk about this.
Yeah, yeah.
Why?
You know, I think I know, but I don't even know that I feel like it's my job to not engage in the opinions about me, good or bad, positive, negative, over time. It's like, I'm really focused on, you know, what I'm doing. And I think it's actually, like, especially at Goop, what we're putting into the world is actually really important and moving culture forward. And if I started to get upset about people's responses to whatever, you know, it might pull me back from that. So I try just not to pay too much attention and really stay in my integrity and move forward.
Tonight, the CDC's new outdoor mask guidelines. What changed that allowed this new recommendation to be made? If we do nothing, what happens to a city like Houston?
You're gonna repeat this movie over and over again.
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Killer Roll, the new podcast from Dateline. Subscribe now wherever you listen.
Make the most of your day with
Today in
30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule. Streaming every day on Today All Day.
This is about 50 votes. If you can't get bipartisanship here, where are you going to get it? If China decided to cover this up, can we ever actually get a definitive answer? What happens if we don't act on police reform this year? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends at Today in a whole new way.
Today in
30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Jill Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today Food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Get ready. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
What's about to happen on our plaza is you're all going to get your very first COVID vaccine.
I'm excited.
She's excited. 3, 2, 1,
yes! So grateful.
Is that close to crying?
Here we go.
Right now on NBC News Now.
They've done things like installing cameras to help alert Border Patrol to people crossing. They are escaping a number of conditions there, violence and persecution in their home countries.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app. Killer Roll, the new podcast from Dateline. Subscribe now wherever you listen.
For more than 2 decades, Gwyneth Paltrow has graced covers, grabbed headlines, and garnered every imaginable accolade, one of Hollywood's perennial A-listers. But these days, this is Gwyneth's proudest accomplishment. Goop, the lifestyle and wellness brand she launched 10 years ago in her kitchen, has grown into a $250 million juggernaut. Its customers loyal and passionate, and on a Saturday, happy to spend $1,000 to gobble up Gwyneth's wisdom. Did you ever think that Goop would become what it's become?
I think I had a secret dream that it would become what it's become, but when I started 10 years ago, I had absolutely no idea. I had just had a vision, but I had no idea how to get there, like how to execute on it.
Did you know there was an inner CEO in you?
I was always very interested in business. I was always fascinated by it, but I didn't think that I had kind of the license to go into business.
Sometimes it's written in the press that you stopped acting.
Right.
Well, are they getting that right? Is you stopped acting? Is you pausing from acting? You're uncoupling from acting?
I've never said that I am quitting acting. What I say is, Goop is my full-time passion, and being the founder and CEO of Goop is what I do all day, every day. And occasionally, when something is the right thing and it works out around my children and my Goop life, I'm able to participate. I think I'm just not focused on full-time acting right now.
Everyone says you're extremely involved. This is not a vanity project where you just slap your name on something.
Oh, no, I wish at this point.
What kind of boss would you say you are?
I think that I am an optimistic boss. I think I am constantly hoping for the highest good for all. Over time, I've had to learn the more difficult qualities of being a boss. It's been interesting as a woman to have to implement more structure and boundaries, and giving difficult feedback. Like that's been a hard part of it for me.
What have you learned about yourself in this journey, this particular journey of going into business?
I've had to sort of constantly shed my ego along the way because I had to come to terms with how much I didn't know, how much I had to learn. I made so many mistakes on the way to learning what I've learned.
Goop has sometimes faced criticism, even lawsuits, accusing it of promoting unproven health claims, what some called pseudoscience. Growing pains, Paltrow says she has learned from. But her vision has also been vindicated.
Hello.
The wellness concept she was among the first to popularize now makes up a $4.2 trillion industry.
And we've always said, we're just asking questions. And I also really love when we write about something or talk about something at Goop and, the internet goes crazy, and then 6 months later, 12 months later, 2 years later, you see it kind of being widely adopted into the culture.
Well, that has happened a few times.
Yes, it has.
You could say I told you so.
But I would never.
Gwyneth is well aware of the way some people see her as someone just a bit too perfect. And she's willing to poke fun at herself, like on SNL this weekend.
I need your help because I'm really afraid that Gwyneth's gonna fire me.
No, she doesn't believe in firing. Remember, it's called conscious unemploying. Right.
Well, first of all, for the record, are you perfect?
Oh my God, are you insane?
Exactly.
I'm a mess.
Everyone is, but for people to kind of say, is she trying to say she's so perfect and the rest of us are just a bunch of slobs?
I mean, that's been actually the opposite of my intention. I always feel like I'm very open about my learnings, my shortcomings, my mistakes. I think we're all in process, and we're all starting at different places. And I think I'm actually a person who tries to look for ways to really support people and offer solutions and ideas.
Strolling around the summit, it's easy to get drawn into the Goop universe.
1, 2, 3.
For a B12 shot or a different kind of needle.
But what about an ear pierce?
Well, I don't know. My ears are pretty pierced up.
That's true.
I know.
That's pretty good.
Maybe I'll be like Gwyneth and get one right here.
Let's go do it.
I'm serious. I'll go do it right now.
Let's go do it.
Okay, let's go.
All right, are you ready?
We're ready.
We're ready.
We're ready.
Yep.
Hey,
hold my hand.
we got this.
Oh, I love that is super cool.
I'm happy.
That's amazing.
The double stack, now I want to do that. It's the next one.
The next one. Oh my God, matching earrings? What happened?
Ultimate bonding experience, get your ears pierced. I'm always trying to get Siri to come get something pierced.
Do it, yeah.
Can we see it?
It was fun. Oh, yeah.
Which
here
one is it?
Well, see,
but
now
can I
I
see a
have
dumb
4.
question?
I mean, who am I? I'm like in high school again. But isn't it kind of fun? It's that little one right there.
How
Very
many do you
cool.
have total?
Whoa.
I know,
She's
it's like,
cool. No,
I'm such a goody-goody that it's like, oh, this is my little rebellion. I have 4 piercings
Yeah.
on this one now. The
Yeah.
Gwyneth
You're running
piercing
out
is
of
my
room.
4th.
Yeah.
I did this one with Jenna Bush Hager.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then Three on the
Celebrity
other
takes
side.
you an hour just to get your news down.
I know. But anyway,
The
it was
nose
really
is next.
fun.
In one line, what is goop? I still have a hard time defining
Yes.
it.
Well, you know what? You're not the target demographic.
Yeah.
But for women, a lot of women do know. I mean, it's wellness. It's wellness in general, but it's products. It's, I mean, the Goop Summit, for example, is what they've got panels and people come and talk. It's, just a variety of different lifestyle, wellness. There's a newsletter, there's a podcast, there's a show on Netflix. And, it's funny.
It's a wide net.
Yeah, it is. And she's built this $250 million company.
Right now on NBC News Now.
Here in Chicago, about 20,000 middle schoolers returning to school today. They also took advantage of existing vaccine distribution networks throughout Alaska.
It does seem as if this White House doesn't want to bring a lot of high-profile attention to the issue. What efforts might depoliticize vaccine hesitancy? What happens if we don't act on police reform this year? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends in today in a whole new way.
Today in
30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show.
in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Joe Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today Food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Get ready. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
Our week-long journey begins here in Orlando, Louisville, Kentucky, Cleveland. Our Across America journey reporting on an America rebuilding and reimagining a future after the pandemic. Breaking news tonight, the ceasefire in the Middle East after 11 days of deadly violence. Richard Engel is on the ground. Do you think there's a connection between policing and racism? How narrow a window do you have to really get kids back where we would want them to be?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
We're joined now by Oscar winner Gwyneth Paltrow. She's one of the stars of the new Netflix series called The Politician. Gwyneth plays the mother of an ambitious high school senior who wants to be president one day and will stop at nothing to get there. It's an ambition that makes her perhaps a little worried.
I know this is my only pass. Why does that make you cry?
Because I love you so much. And I know I'm gonna do whatever it takes to help you get what you want. And I'm sad for the person that's gonna turn me into.
Gwyneth Paltrow, good morning. Good
morning.
This feels so timely on so many levels. Ryan Murphy, your husband Brad Falchuk, created this together.
With Ian Brennan.
Yes, and you guys you've worked together before with Glee.
Yep.
I mean, that's actually how you met Brad.
That's right.
But I heard you didn't exactly jump at this chance. He had to convince you a little bit.
He had to convince me a little bit. I've got a pretty big day job over at goop.com, so I'd sort of put acting on the back burner. But he was writing, and he was like, I think I'm writing a part for you. And I was like, I don't think I can do a part. And lo and behold, here I am.
There you are. And by the way, it does seem like it was written for you. The part is kind of just perfect for you. What do you like about...
I don't know how I should take that,
Well,
Savannah.
I know, because actually it is true, because this mom character you play, she might be a little bit twisted.
She's complicated.
Yeah, she is, but it's like, but you wear it so well. But what was it like actually working with Brad, and like here he's writing your words and you were interacting, you're an executive producer on the show. Like, how did that dynamic all play out?
It was the best. It was really easy, and I think when you trust someone so much and you love someone so much and they know you so well and you know them, it's really actually an interesting set of characteristics to bring into a workplace. It was really nice.
And this show has so many different stars in it. I mean,
Yes.
it's like some real heavy hitters. Ben Platt was just here yesterday. Jessica Lange plays like an incredible character. Another
She's amazing.
Slightly twisted mom. I don't know what it says about that. You mentioned just a second ago that you're kind of, in a way, putting acting on the back burner. I do almost think of you more of an entrepreneur now. I mean, you really, like, Goop seems to be your whole life.
It sure is. It sure is.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it so much. It's challenging in all the best ways, and I learn so much every day, and I love the products that we're making and, you know, the content that we're making. So it's really fun.
Did you ever imagine that this is where you'd end up? Like in your 20s, if I said, oh, actually, you're going to want to be a businesswoman more than you're going to want to be an actress.
You know what's funny? I was talking to Laura Dern the other day, and she said, do you remember when you were like 25, we were sitting on the porch and you said, I think I want to go into business one day. And I had no recollection of it, but she said that I was eyeing it even then, which is so strange.
So it kind of was always in your heart and your DNA.
Grab some charcoal, butter your buns, and get the grill going. It's almost the 4th of July. Up next on Saucy, Anthony Contrino is putting his very own Italian spin on classic barbecue. That's right, and if anybody knows about buttered buns, it's Anthony. You don't want to miss his provolone wrapped hot dog, a caprese burger, and a giant red, white, and blue berry trifle.
The second the weather begins to warm, even the slightest bit, my family is outside grilling, which means by the middle of the summer, I am hamburgered out. That's why I thought I'd experiment with a few new dishes that bring Italian flavors to classic American barbecue. First up, provolone wrapped hot dogs topped with a zesty giardiniera relish. Then a caprese burger with luscious creamy burrata cheese. And finally, for dessert, a real showstopper, my cannoli trifle, layered with fresh berries that's sure to become a summer favorite. Giardiniera loosely translates to from the garden, and it's something Italians have been doing for a really long time, taking all of the summer vegetables at the end of the harvest and preserving them so they don't go to waste. My version is an overnight giardiniera relish, which is more of a quick pickle. It comes together a hell of a lot faster, and because everything's chopped in smaller pieces, you're gonna get a taste of everything in one bite. The first thing we need to do is prepare our vegetables. I'm gonna get my mason jar right on standby, and all of these vegetables are going to be chopped into a 1/4-inch dice. First up are our carrots. And it doesn't have to be perfect. As you chop each vegetable, transfer it right into a mason jar. Up next is a yellow onion. I like using yellow onions. Find they're a little bit sweeter, but you can use a white as well. I would skip the red onion here just because of aesthetics. We already have a red bell pepper. Perfect. Okay. Next up, a bell pepper. Just work your knife alongside the exterior of the pepper to remove the ribs, and the core will come out with it. Same thing, 1/4-inch dice. Add this layer right on top of our onions. Up next is celery. You may be tempted to cheat here. I know it's a lot of chopping, but don't use anything like a food processor or anything else like that. You're not going to be able to control the size, and it's just gonna be a mishmash of just pureed, shredded vegetables. Okay. Just a few things left. Up next, we're gonna add a little bit of heat. I'm using a Serrano, but you can use a jalapeno or any hot chili pepper. One thing that you need to do, at least if you're me, is put on a glove when you do this, because no matter how well you wash your hands after you handle something like this, if you put your hands in your mouth or in your eyes, you're gonna remember that you touched a pepper earlier that day. I'm gonna make sure I get all the seeds out of here because I wanna be able to enjoy my hot dogs later. That looks great. Put that right on top. Next up, some garlic. Oh, this was an easy one, guys. 2 cloves. Nice and fine. Okay, let's get that in there. And last but not least, some pitted Spanish olives. Just like everything else, about a ½ cup worth. Okay, that'll do it. Let's get those right on top. Up next, we're going to make our pickling liquid. In this saucepan, I have 2/3 of a cup of just tap water, and now I'm going to add an equal amount of distilled white vinegar. First thing we're actually gonna add is some sugar, which will help with the preservation and also give it some sweetness. 2 tablespoons of that. Then because this is going on a hot dog, I'm gonna add some mustard seeds just to give it that mustardy essence. I feel like I'm making like a witch's brew over here. Some dried oregano. Never forget to season. 1½ teaspoons of salt. And finally, for a little bit more heat, just for me, about a 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, but add as much as you'd like. Give it a stir. We want the salt, the sugar to completely dissolve. So we have a nice simmer. Our liquid is clear, which means everything has dissolved nicely. And all that's left to do, pour this over, and then just give it some time. Wow, I'd hate to say that this recipe is perfect, but proof is in the pudding. That relish is going to be amazing on my provolone wrapped hot dogs.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Half of all U.S. adults now fully vaccinated.
Al is in Cleveland for our Reopening America series.
This is the greatest location in the nation.
Music is back.
Y'all were exactly what we needed.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Are you ready?
We're going to do our part to spread the word on the importance of vaccines, so crucial for Reopening America.
A big day around here, a very special naturalization ceremony.
Many of them doctors, nurses, other essential workers.
If you are a nurse, thank you.
Spring has sprung, guys, and we want to fill this season with some fun and surprises.
Yes, this is the face of excitement.
Celebrating Earth Day.
Let's change the world.
Love it!
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Are you ready?
Half of all U.S. adults now fully vaccinated.
A huge lift is underway for one of the most celebrated cities in this country, Cleveland, Ohio.
This is the greatest location in the nation.
We're having a baby.
Wow.
The big reveal is under the lid.
Hey now.
Things are looking brighter, so we want to help you find the fun in 21.
Music is back.
Y'all were exactly what we needed.
I joined Ellen on her set. What's been a difficult year for her personally and for her show.
Very few people go through such huge public humiliation. How can I be an example of strength and perseverance if I give up and run away?
There's more than just a hot dog with mustard on top. We have to do better, people. That's why I figured, why not wrap it in provolone cheese? Cheese, delicious. Hot dog, delicious. What can go wrong, right? But first, it's all about the bun. I love a brioche split top bun. Delicious. I love how nice and soft and flavorful these buns are. They're loaded with butter, but not enough butter. So we'll just add a little bit more. Just an even smear on the sides, which is gonna help toast these up beautifully. Make sure you get both sides. I think I'll make a couple. Okay, let's get this on our preheated griddle. Just looking for some beautiful golden brown markings. Give them a flip. You can smell that butter. It smells so good. Don't these look gorgeous? Don't worry, I will leave them right here for you to look at. Let's throw a couple of our hot dogs. Any kind you like. I like an all beef hot dog and just one that fits your bun properly. Unless you don't care about that. So just begin to rotate them. If you don't have a grill pan and you're in a bind, you can even boil your hot dogs. These are nearly done. Let's get ready for the fun part. Wrapping them in provolone cheese. You want it on the thin side so that when you roll it, it doesn't break. And all you're going to do is take your freshly grilled hot dog, place it towards one end of the cheese, and just roll it up. It will melt slightly from the heat of the hot dog, but not completely, so it'll still have its own texture. And right into our prepared bun. Ooh, that has some beautiful marks on it, just the way I like it. Wrap it up. All we need now is our delicious giardiniera relish. Give it a nice stir. Okay, you can see our cheese is glistening from the heat of the hot dog. Now to top it with some of our relish. This is one of those instances where less is not more. Yum. Is this not the prettiest hot dog you've ever seen? Time to get ready to make my burger. A caprese salad is one of my favorite dishes, so I figured why not make a caprese burger? But instead of using mozzarella, I'm using burrata. It is one of my favorite cheeses in the entire world. The first element of a caprese burger is tomato. Slicing these into 1/4 inch thick rounds. Look how beautiful. It's one of the best things about summer are the best tomatoes. These are just beefsteak tomatoes, and I'm looking for a tomato that's going to be pretty proportionate to my hamburger patty, which I have right here. I'm using premium hamburger patties here. This is one of those instances where spending just a little bit of extra money is going to give you a far superior end product. This blend is 80-20, which means it's 80% lean and 20% fat. And all that fat is gonna translate into delicious flavor. Generously season both sides of your patty and straight onto a fairly hot, preheated cast iron grill. That's the sound you want to hear anytime you place meat onto a hot grill. We're looking for some really nice, beautiful caramelization on the bottom of this burger. I know it's really tempting to just take your spatula and sneak a peek, but you'll ruin the grill mark, so don't be tempted. Give it a little bit of time. I like super well done meat. I'm that guy who goes to a steakhouse, gets filet mignon, and is like, hey, can you butterfly it and kill it? Don't judge me, don't at me. It's the way I like it. It's still delicious. I know you're not gonna think that, but I like it, and that's all that matters. Beautiful. At this point, pick your favorite piece of tomato. I'm gonna use this one. Put it right on top. And now, if you're using an outdoor grill, close the lid. At this point, cover it right away with a metal bowl. That's gonna trap the heat and warm up the tomato. Carefully remove this metal bowl. It's going to be a little on the warm side. Right onto a serving plate. Let's get another patty going. How beautiful does that look? Still super juicy. Now for the fun part, all the toppings. Just a nice, generous portion of burrata, a drizzle of some really good olive oil, some balsamic glaze, flaky sea salt, just a little bit of freshly cracked black pepper, and then last but not least, some basil. This looks and smells so delicious that I bet you didn't even realize that there's no bun. Not necessary for this gorgeous burger. This beats a salad any day of the week.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Tonight, the CDC's new outdoor mask guidelines. What changed that allowed this new recommendation to be made? If we do nothing, what happens to a city like Houston?
You're going to repeat this movie over and over again.
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Make the most of your day with
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Savannah and Hoda bring you what you must know. The biggest moments of the morning.
One Republic!
Exclusive interviews.
Why did it work for you?
You're right. I am more talented than the rest.
And important headlines.
Major medical news this morning.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule. Streaming every day on Today All Day.
Our Across America journey here in Louisville, Kentucky, Cleveland. Reporting on an America rebuilding after the pandemic. How narrow a window do you have to really get kids back where we would want them to be?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Are you ready?
We're going to do our part to spread the word on the importance of vaccines, so crucial for reopening America.
A big day around here, a very special naturalization ceremony.
Many of them doctors, nurses, other essential workers.
If you are a nurse, thank you.
Spring has sprung, guys, and we want to fill this season with some fun and surprises.
Yes.
This is the face of excitement.
Celebrating Earth Day. Let's change the world.
Ready, actors.
An indie horror film, a talented young actress, and a deadly shot. Dateline's newest podcast, Killer Roll.
Action!
Subscribe for free wherever you get your podcasts.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
In my family, dessert is just as important as what comes off the grill. We always need to end on a sweet note, even at a barbecue. So I'm going to be making my cannoli trifle. Let's get started with our berries. They're going to take the longest because we want to macerate them. So just cut off the tops of a pound of strawberries here. You can use any berries that you like that are in season. I just really love the combination of the strawberries and blueberries. I find it's easier to just cut the top straight off instead of a traditional hull. They'll stand flatter and you're not losing that much of the fruit. I'm just gonna cut these into smallish pieces. You're just looking to get them sort of around the same size as your larger blueberries. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, the last couple. That beautiful red color. Okay, now for our blueberries. All done. Just throw them right on in. Give it a little toss. And now, let's add a couple of tablespoons of sugar. The sugar is going to help pull all of the juices out of these berries. Then I'm adding some amaretto. Usually when you macerate, you add a liqueur. And I love amaretto. Has a nice almondy flavor that's really going to taste great with all the other components in our trifle. Give this a really good toss. Make sure that all of the berries are coated with the sugar. Now I'm gonna set this aside and let it sit for at least an hour, anywhere up to 4 hours. Really just let those juices come out. While that's happening, let's prepare some of the other layers of our trifle. I have a store-bought 1 pound cake. I feel like pound cakes are one of the few bakery items that supermarkets just get right. So if you want to make your own, go for it, but I don't find it to be necessary. I'm gonna cut these into slices about a ½ inch, and then we'll cut them into cubes. And that will go into its own bowl. And since I'm at the cutting board, I'm just gonna get our garnish ready now too. Some pistachios for a little extra crunch. So about a ¼ cup. And we'll give it just a little bit of a chop. Throw that in its own bowl. All that's left is our cannoli cream layer.
I joined Ellen on her set. What's been a difficult year for her personally and for her show.
Very few people go through such huge public humiliation. How can I be an example of strength and perseverance if I give up and run away?
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Are you ready?
We're going to do our part to spread the word on the importance of vaccines, so crucial for reopening America.
A big day around here, a very special naturalization ceremony.
Many of them doctors, nurses, other essential workers.
If you are a nurse, thank you.
Spring has sprung, guys, and we want to fill this season with some fun and surprises.
Yes.
This is the face of excitement.
Celebrating Earth Day.
Let's change the world.
Love it!
Right now on NBC News Now.
Here in Chicago, about 20,000 middle schoolers returning to school today. They also took advantage of existing vaccine distribution networks throughout Alaska.
Now for what, in my opinion, is the best layer of this trifle, the cannoli cream. The main ingredient is 2 pounds of whole milk ricotta cheese. I had this in the fridge overnight with a couple of bowls to weigh it down because we want to remove as much liquid as possible. And look how much came out. Just kind of help it get in there. Then just a few other ingredients. First up, a cup of confectioner's sugar. Loosen it up. Get it all over yourself. That made a mess. Straight into our food processor. It's gonna help sweeten it up. The one day I don't wear an apron. Now I know you think cinnamon is like a warm fall spice, but trust me, it plays really well with the amaretto and the fresh berries. So ½ teaspoon of that and a ½ teaspoon of some really good vanilla extract. Just a little bit of nutmeg, about ¼ teaspoon. Always fresh when possible. And because we have amaretto in our berries, we're gonna bring it into our cream as well. Tie in all those flavors together. just a tablespoon. And there you have it. Give it a few pulses to get it started. And then turn it on until it's nice and silky smooth. I'm gonna go in with a spatula and just kind of run it around the sides just to make sure everything gets evenly incorporated. Beautiful. Now to lighten this up a little bit, we're gonna fold in some whipped cream, a half cup worth. Unless I'm making a crazy quantity of whipped cream, I prefer to do it by hand. I feel like I can control it better and it whips quicker than you think. The trick is to tilt your bowl and go back and forth. This creates tension as it's being pushed away, but then suddenly pulled back in. If you go in a circle, you're gonna be here all day long. That took no time, less than a minute. In case you didn't know, I'm also a classically trained pastry chef. Now I'm going to add this cannoli cream right into this bowl. We're going to fold by lifting it over carefully. We don't want to deflate our beautiful whipped cream, just until it's not streaky anymore, nice and combined. Cut your spatula through and lift over. Get yourself a bougie trifle bowl, straight from Italy, of course. And we're gonna start layering. First up, our cubed pound cake. We're gonna use half of it as our base layer. Give it a gentle press, just to kind of keep it in place, but we don't wanna smush it up too much. Next up, our berries. Look how much juice has released from just sitting in that sugar and amaretto. About half of the berries. It smells so good, the amaretto really stands out. I like to start around the perimeter because that's what people are gonna see. So make sure you have ample berries there. Now, of course, this gorgeous cannoli cream. Half of that as well. Just gently spread it over your berries. And twist your bowl to help. And then repeat. So we'll add the remaining cake cubes. This dessert is going to feed a lot of people, making it perfect for a summer party. Get those remaining berries on top. And it has a lot of berries, so of course it's healthy. And all those juices, it's all flavor. Make sure all of it finds its way into your trifle bowl. Oop. Then the last of our cream. I like to pile it in the center so that I can control it and leave a little bit of those berries exposed because they're so pretty. That's all there is to it. Although, I think we need our pistachios, that crunchy garnish. And there you have it, my perfect cannoli trifle. I cannot wait to dig in with my friends later. Literally all over. And then the other side, okay? Enjoy, guys.
Look at that burrata, just like
beautiful.
yeah.
You gotta give Belle a little bite of burger. Ah!
Oh my God! Wow!
Oh, good.
It's about a Danish aristocrat who moved to Africa in 1913 and to Kenya, which was then British East Africa, and a colony of very eccentric, strange, expatriate Europeans. And she moved there and started a coffee farm with her husband. And she stayed there for, I think, about 8 years until she went bust. It's about her adventures there, her rather wonderful, exciting adventures there.
Her name was Karen Blixen, and she was a baroness. And how would you describe her character?
Well, she was interesting for a lot of reasons, not the least of which was that she was incredibly independent and a woman sort of out of her time. And in Denmark, where she was brought up, she was very constricted by the life there. And so she went to Africa, and she sort of blossomed there because there was no rules, really. And during that time, she became a writer. She became a writer we know as Isak Dinesen.
I wouldn't run. If you do, she'll think you're something good to eat.
Do you have a gun?
She won't like the smell of you.
Shoot it.
She's had breakfast.
It's the first time I've really been able to play somebody who is completely and happily herself. There's not a neurotic, she doesn't have a neurotic core, but she was interesting in that way for me to play.
That's interesting because in Plenty, certainly that woman is a neurotic person.
Absolutely.
Prince the Tender Woman is an oddity, that picture,
Yeah.
right? Of course, you were very wonderful,
Karen
insane person.
Silkwood was really troubled.
Right?
Sophie, you know.
She had been through a concentration
completely,
camp. She
yes, and nuts in a lot of ways, so.
My father was a civilized man living in an uncivilized time. The civilized, they was the first to die.
In Out of Africa, one of your co-stars is Robert Redford, and he is based on a character who actually existed.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about him?
Yeah, he's based on Dennis Finch Hatton, who was an English, the son of an English lord. But he was the second son. And like lots of second sons, he didn't stand to inherit anything. So I think the colonies, like India and Africa, British colonies, were full of second sons from all over the place who had a little bit of money and nothing to prove, who were adventurers. And so he was sort of one of those people. And he went out to Africa and became one of the first safari guides.
And the Redford character falls in love with the Meryl Streep character.
Yeah.
But how would it be if I kept a few things with you?
You would come and go from my house.
If that's all right.
When the gods want to banish you, they answer your prayers.
It's kind of the classic confrontation between the woman who wants to settle it and center it and give it a name, and the man who wants to his freedom.
Carl Maria Brandauer, who plays your husband in the movie, could be a vile character, and yet he plays it magnificently, so there's a lot of sympathy for him.
Yeah, he does a remarkable job. Partly because he has a large amount of personal charm himself. And I think lots of actors would like to play the part of a charming rogue. It's sort of good to have another side to your character.
I thought you might be wanting a divorce.
Has she got money? Of course she's got money. Is this important, bro?
I suppose.
Well, I'll have to accuse you of something. Or did you think you would have it the other way around?
Mr. John Sutton, 7... Fire away, whatever. I have surely done it.
Out of Africa is truly a big picture.
Yeah.
In every way.
Yeah, it's it kind of matches the landscape, which is
huge,
vast and unknowable. I mean, there's something completely unknowable about that place. Impenetrable, the face of Africa. It's amazing. And that's what I was so happy about. When I saw the film, it just washed over me again, the size of the place and the diversity of the people and the landscape and animals and the experience there. It's a lot to see.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Half of all U.S. adults now fully vaccinated.
Al is in Cleveland for our Reopening America series.
This is the greatest location in the nation.
Music is back.
Y'all were exactly what we needed.
Right now on NBC News Now.
They've done things like installing cameras to help alert Border Patrol to people crossing. They are escaping a number of conditions there, violence and persecution in their home countries.
Our Across America journey here in Louisville, Kentucky, Cleveland, reporting on an America rebuilding after the pandemic.
How narrow a window do you have to really get kids back where we would want them to be?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
First of all, what do you guys think of all this, the way we do interviews now, with all this technology? Let's start with you, Candace.
Well, let me tell you what I think of it. I think it's a crock of, I am so useless at all of this. It's taken us a half an hour for me to get into this call. Oy.
Meryl, how about you?
That's a technical term, oi, that she just.
Now, you guys, before you did this movie, Meryl, were you guys friends?
I knew Diane for a long time. We had done a movie, Falling in Love, years, and then I'd been a huge fan since her theater work, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Love Diane, but I didn't know Candy before we began.
We knew each other a little bit. We met, but just barely.
Yeah. Just like parties. Hi.
Were you, I mean, all of you obviously are legends, but very first meeting, were you surprised by the other? Candy, were you surprised by Meryl when you first met? Was there anything about it that you remember?
You know, there's Meryl comes with a force field because she's a legend on a level that nobody is a legend. So you have to kind of, I was creeping around the force field for a while, but Meryl was great, and it's just that there's nothing she can't do brilliantly. So you have to just reckon with that.
Steven Soderbergh was trying to figure out something, anything he could do that better than Meryl. And there was nothing.
Oh yeah, like make the whole movie on his
No,
shoulder.
throw the ball. You said something about baseball, and you said, well, up until last year, I would have beat you.
Let's talk about this movie. It is unique. It is different, unlike anything we've ever seen. It was shot on a cruise ship. It had minimal crew, minimal equipment, minimal everything.
And it was shot in 10 days, a full-length movie.
I mean, this is shocking. So just tell us what that vibe felt like. I'll start with Meryl.
Well, when you see the film, and there's a scene in the film where every morning I have breakfast with Lucas Hedges, and that was actually me getting up, putting on my costume, which was my clothes, and going in and having breakfast with Lucas Hedges and making it up.
Mm-hmm.
We had certain points that we had to get forward by the end of it, but it was sort of open-ended, and we could talk as long as we wanted. And or as short as we wanted, and it was very daunting, exciting, and present. You know, you couldn't not be there, and that was really fun.
Candace, we only see you've chopped off the entire top of your head. But was it exhilarating not having strict dialogue? Was it terrifying for you? What was it?
In the beginning, it was, but Debbie Eisenberg is a friend, and she wrote a great Bible for the film, and every character had a description, and mine had a snake as a pet, and it was, so that she gave you a very rich stuff to play with, but it was all improvised dialogue, and once you got used to that, it kept everything very vibrant and alive and fun, actually.
Candace, your character was quietly seething throughout the entire film. You were just always ticked off. Did that vibe? You know, could you separate yourself when shooting was over and it was hang time with the girls? Could you separate that?
You know, there was not so much hang time on this shoot because Stephen worked with this, I think it was maybe a prototype of a camera that soaks up the light, so we had no lighting crew. And so we were like a guerrilla film crew. Very few people on the ship knew we were shooting a movie. And we shot till around 9 at night, and then I'd have tomato soup in my duplex stateroom, which we all had, obviously, but it was the most spectacular ship. And so there wasn't as much hanging out. When we were in Southampton, Meryl, we were at a hotel, an inn that was lovely, and it was much more sort of relaxed, and we would sit on the terrace at night and hang out.
Yes. Diane, you had beautiful, beautiful poetic lines about sisterhood and friendship and aging and all of that. And are you just a poet? Did it just come out when you were?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. I love improvising, though. I just love it so much because you're so really free to look at the other person and really listen and just be there. You know, it's just because you really have to listen. Otherwise, what you say would be nonsense, you know, instead of thinking about, well, what's the next line? And so I can't get enough of it. I do the whole thing again in a heartbeat. I love it so much. I love Stephen.
Her character listens, but my character doesn't listen. My character just is on, and sort of it's that noise that's coming from the other person. You kind of move past that as quickly as possible.
Meryl, if you were going to describe, what would be your best pitch for the film if you were going to tell someone this is what the film's about?
Oh, Oh gosh. Well, it's like my old friend Mike Nichols would say, well, it's really about everything. It sort of is. It's sort of about, technically it's 3 old ladies get on a boat and 2 young people, and everybody has their own agenda, and a mysterious person circles in and becomes very important. But it's a mystery, like life is a mystery, and I just have seen it now twice, and it's deeper and weirder and better, each time. So I don't know. I'm not good at that kind of captionalizing way of saying, oh, it's this, but
it takes kind of a swerve at the end.
It takes a swerve. I like that. What do you think? Why do you think it took Hollywood so long to realize this was a perfect combination, to have 3 incredible actresses of a certain age come together and headline a great movie? What took?
Well, hello, there was the book club.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
But still few.
A different kind of, yeah.
This is Steven Soderbergh.
Yeah.
I understand.
But I think he just wanted to work with Meryl again.
Yeah.
We got her age group.
I think Stephen did want to work with Deborah. I think that was the birth of this whole thing, because their sensibilities very aligned, and in terms of the things that they're interested in. Existential questions of it didn't really. I feel like the fact that we're 3 older women was in some ways incidental to what the questions of the whole thing, what it was circling.
I like that. I like that point of view.
Killer Roll, the new podcast from Dateline. Subscribe now wherever you listen.
Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends of today in a whole new way.
Today in
30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Joe Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Is that ready? Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
Killer Roll, the new podcast from Dateline. Subscribe now wherever you listen.
I joined Ellen on her set. What's been a difficult year for her personally and for her show.
Very few people go through such huge public humiliation. How can I be an example of strength and perseverance if I give up and run away?
Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends of today in a whole new way.
Today in
30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Joe Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Is that ready? Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright. Are you ready? We're going to do our part to spread the word on the importance of vaccines, so crucial for reopening America.
A big day around here, a very special naturalization ceremony.
Many of them doctors, nurses, other essential workers.
If you are a nurse, thank you.
Spring has sprung, guys, and we want to fill this season with some fun and surprises.
Yes, this is the face of excitement.
Celebrating Earth Day.
Let's change the world.
Love it!
The Meet the Press Chuck Todd Cast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
I was speaking to friends and telling them that I was interviewing you, and we're all kind of in that same age bracket. Everyone's over 50, 60 in the age bracket of 70, and you guys always seem so confident and like you have everything together. But as a viewer who looks
5 minutes ago.
You're so kind.
Do you ever look in the mirror like the rest of us do and go like this? Yeah, if I could just. Do you ever do the? No.
No.
Candy, no.
More.
Tell me.
well, I just don't pay attention to it. I mean, it is what it is. And I don't think there's anything to be ashamed of getting older.
I always love what Jessica Lange said. She said, see these? I've earned these. Sign of your life lived and all the sorrows, all the happiness. It's all written there. Didn't you love that movie Reds, where in the very, very beginning, I think that was the first time anybody had ever put real old people, in close-up in a movie. Maybe ever. That many, just talking about life. And I remember as a young person watching that movie, I thought, oh man, that was revolutionary. It was really great, because there's something so evocative about those faces that have earned their place,
I think it's beautiful. That is beautiful. What age do you feel inside? Diane, how about you?
I think you feel the same inside as you go through the decades. Maybe, hopefully, a little bit more knowledgeable, but the same. There's a bit of you that just is who you are, and that never goes away. And then the outside deteriorates, and so that's what it is.
Yeah, I'm kind of like you, Candy, too. I don't feel like I think about. I mean, I hope I don't, but
you don't have time, Hoda.
You don't have time. We're busy. We got stuff going on,
and life is short.
Babies.
We got babies. Yeah. And speaking of babies, we got a couple of new grandkids who popped up recently. So what does that feel like? Meryl, you popped up a quick picture of your cutie that I got to see while we were hanging out. Well, what does that feel like?
Oh, it's great. It's great, and it's especially heartbreaking not to be able to be with them.
Mm-hmm.
Both my grandchildren are in California, and I'm on the East Coast shooting a film in Boston. But and I have one of my college roommates, they had a baby. Her kids are in California. She's never seen this little girl. Maybe she's ever 6 months old now, 8 months old. And it's, that's a special kind of, but just knowing that they're in the world and getting these, oh, thank God, whoever invented this,
Yes.
That's Steve Jobs or one of those people.
Candy, how's little Anthony Fauci? I can't get enough.
Oh,
I can't get enough.
It was great, wasn't it? My daughter ordered a 2-year-old lab coat. It was the smallest you could order. And she had Dr. Anthony Fauci embroidered on the pocket. And then she ordered a little tie and glasses. And I powdered his head with talcum powder. And he was a brilliant Anthony. And we were just hysterical. And then finally someone said, you guys can't do this. You're turning him into Charlie McCarthy. And we said, we are not.
Oh, wonderful, Candace.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Are you ready? Half of all U.S. adults now fully vaccinated.
A huge lift is underway for one of the most celebrated cities in this country, Cleveland, Ohio.
Yes. This is the greatest location in the nation.
We're having a baby.
Wow.
The big reveal is under the lid.
Hey now.
Things are looking brighter, so we want to help you find the fun in 21. Music is back.
Y'all were exactly what we needed. What's about to happen on our plaza is you're all going to get your very first COVID vaccine.
I'm excited.
She's excited. 3, 2, 1, champion!
So grateful.
That close to crying.
Here we go.
I'm rolling up my sleeves for science, so I'll survive if I contract this virus. For family dinners, family vacations, family anything. For traveling somewhere beyond my living room. And for the Rebels, there is no greater feeling than being in the stadium and cheering on Ole Miss. And now it's your turn. Roll up your sleeves, America. Plan your vaccine, because every shot counts. Visit planyourvaccine.com and make your plan.
Ready, actors.
An indie horror film, a talented young actress, and a deadly shot. Dateline's newest podcast, Killer Role.
Action!
Subscribe for free wherever you get your podcasts.
Candace, I was thinking about how many groundbreaking things you've been in your life, and I was thinking a lot about Murphy Brown for some reason. I actually just watched an old clip before we sat down, the whole Dan Quayle situation. Oh. I know, and you were on the cover of Time, and so many things were groundbreaking at that time. Was there anything during the Murphy Brown era that you thought, well, we let's tackle that, but you were a little reluctant to? It maybe felt like a bridge too far?
Well, the pregnancy was close.
Yep.
And when you're doing a half hour that has a lot of, we were very dialogue intense because the show played very fast and we wanted to capture an East Coast newsroom energy. You don't really have time. I never watched the show because I'd go home and be with my daughter and my husband. But Diane English and the writers would take on things, and we had a sort of quiet dinner before the baby was introduced, and we decided that the best way would be to have him be the baby from her ex-husband. So, but of course it still made everybody crazy.
If you could wave a magic wand and change something in Hollywood, since you were, is there anything you would change? How is there anything about Hollywood that you would change if you could do it right now, Candy?
I live in New York, so I don't even know what it's like anymore. There's more equitable representation on sets, but not enough. But there's a beginning. There's a lot more women in positions on the crew and writers, and there are people of color. But so that is changing, and they, in a sense, have been forced to change by different decisions that have been made. And Hollywood, there's no more movies as they were, really, except a few of the franchise movies. So we're all experiencing entertainment very differently, which is online.
Okay, and do you guys mind if we do a little quick rapid fire? Okay, here we go. Here's a rapid fire question. All right, I'll start with Diane. Diane, what's the one thing you cannot leave your house without?
Glasses.
Meryl, how about you?
The same.
Same. Candy?
And my phone, but every time I leave the house, I forget my phone, and then it's an hour and a half.
Candy, how about for you?
My dog.
Oh, your dog. Okay. What is the one misconception people have about you, Candy?
I don't think they have any conception anymore. It used to be that I was sort of an ice princess, but I think that's gone. I don't know.
Okay, Meryl, how about you?
That I'm an intellectual.
Diane, how about you, Diane?
I don't think people have anything. I don't know what people think,
That you're a serious New York actress.
Oh, gross.
Okay.
Well,
gross. Am
All
I
right.
serious? That's terrible.
Okay, hang on. Here's another one for you, Diane. What's the one thing or person who inspires you right now?
Oh, wow. Steven Soderbergh.
Okay. Candy, what's the one person or thing who inspires you right now?
Steven is really something. I'll go with Diane on that.
Okay. And how about for you, Meryl? Person or thing that inspires you in this moment?
Well, I am really, really impressed by Dr. Anthony Fauci, the real Dr. Anthony, not the little real Dr. Anthony. I think that to get up every day, so he's an older gentleman, and face the fury of people and yet hold on to what he knows is right. It takes a lot And yeah.
Okay, and this is the last one. What do you want for Christmas this year? Candy, we'll start with you.
I would like people to recover their jobs.
Okay. Diane?
Yes, and recover their health.
Yeah. Meryl?
And their hope. Yeah. Yeah.
Those are three perfect things. Ladies, thank you. I know it took us a bit, but we all got here. We're all here together. By the way, it's been my honor, and what a privilege. I mean, I know we're virtual and Zoom, but boy, I feel so lucky sitting in my seat right now. I know it meant the world to me. So thank you for getting up and for hanging with us.
Thank you.
Oh, no, it's always a pleasure.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Being in high school right now does come with an extra set of challenges, but wait until you meet the 5 young people behind the hit podcast Teenager Therapy. Their open and relatable peer-to-peer conversations have been a go-to source of support for teens across the country. Check it out.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Teenager Therapy.
It's the podcast that surpassed 100,000 downloads and caught the eye and ear of everyone from BuzzFeed to the New York Times.
Anxiety is basically, you know that feeling when you're about to speak in front of the class or you're about to get some test results and you're like super nervous, you feel it in your stomach.
Butterflies in your stomach?
Yeah, it's that, but you feel it all the time.
Oh.
Launched in 2018, the 5 teens from Anaheim, California have produced almost 100 episodes, featuring casual and candid conversations on everything from anxiety and acne to dating and the demands of high school.
The intro to your podcast is Teenager Therapy.
Because we have problems too.
From what you've seen, what are some of the most common issues you feel teenagers are facing right now?
Well, I do know that lots of our listeners, they really enjoy listening to our relationship podcast. I don't know why.
On a more serious note, we get a lot of comments about anxiety type episodes where we really talk about people being vulnerable, family issues.
The episodes that stood out to me was my coming out episode, but a lot of our listeners could really imagine themselves in my shoes.
I think our listeners just want to feel comfort.
What has been the hardest part of the past few months for all of you?
Having to miss out on creating memories because it is our senior year.
Yeah.
And I've always romanticized senior year, being the best year. But, it's not really the same anymore because of what's happening right now.
You are all seniors in high school. Your learning is entirely remote. How do you all feel about that?
It's definitely easy to get distracted because I have my phone. I have my family here too. They'll just be like, oh, can you help me? And I'm just like, I'm in school.
Some parents have asked how they can get their teens to even come to them with their issues. What can you say to that?
I think you should be regularly checking up on them. Don't just check up on them whenever they're sad. Really try to be open-minded and just be as patient as possible.
I think something my mom and a lot of moms in general do really well is they just know when you're sad. And every time she notices that in me, she always asks are you okay? Is something bothering you? It's just the fact that I know she notices those things means a lot. And I think that's enough support for some of us.
It's all about giving unconditional support,
What do you think is the helpful thing to hear from a parent? And on the flip side, what do you think is the not so helpful thing to hear from a parent?
Just be accepting, what they're feeling is real and don't try to deny the existence of their emotions.
I feel like parents, they compare their child to how they were when they were a child. And times are really, really different back then. Right now, it's really important to be vulnerable and accept us for who we are.
But I have the utmost confidence in each and every one of you. You all are fantastic people. Thank you so much for having such an open and honest conversation with me. I know a lot of people will benefit from it.
When someone says TikTok, we think of videos like this and this.
But hidden among the dance challenges and debates about hair parts is a growing community of mental health professionals who are using the app as a megaphone to destigmatize therapy.
You made it to the place where there isn't any drama. All I'm here to do is help you through your trauma.
Nadia Desi is a licensed social worker, psychotherapist, and one of TikTok's most popular mental health resources. She started posting videos at the start of the pandemic.
What inspired you to start TikTok therapy?
I was getting so many messages from family and friends saying, I'm experiencing anxiety, I'm experiencing depression, my kid is really stressed. So I realized, okay, people are really struggling right now and they really need this information.
Her stats 1 year in, 32 million likes, 3.1 million dedicated followers, most of them teenagers.
I look back between the ages of 13 and 20, and I would have given anything just to hear a community talking about these weird, crazy thoughts that I was having and to normalize it immediately.
I think Gen Z is the first generation that is really recognizing earlier what is happening because of all the resources that are out there.
Do you think it's a good pathway to sort of more like long-term in-person-to-person therapy?
I do, yeah. I think seeing a video, being informed by the video, connecting to the video leads you to the next step. And in my practice, I would say 80 to 90% of my clients came from TikTok.
That more traditional next step is what many mental health professionals hope the app will encourage.
There really is no replacement for that in-person give and take where we can tailor the therapy to the person that needs it.
While professionals say TikTok isn't a replacement for one-on-one therapy, many Gen Z teens, like Lana, Chris, and Ella, say it's helped them deal with stress, anxiety, and loneliness this past year.
What do you think it is about these TikTok videos that really hits home?
My attention span has shortened, and these 15 to 1 minute videos are just something that really grasps my attention when I don't feel like watching a whole TED Talk.
My generation, Gen X, the old folks, we were either normal or crazy. When I was your guys' age, I was a nervous wreck. And I know now that I just had general anxiety disorder and panic attacks, but they weren't defined. Do your friends talk about therapy or mental health?
I think definitely our generation is making strides to push for normalcy in terms of getting help.
I can even see it with my grandparents. Like when I say, oh, I have a therapy session today, they kind of shift and get uncomfortable because
right, like what's wrong with you?
Yeah. But I learned to love myself with my anxiety.
Help me help parents watching right now who have teenagers and they're really worried about them. How should parents approach their kids?
I mean, I think that the most important thing for parents would be to be compassionate, right?
Definitely sitting your child down, making sure that they know that they still love them and they will still care about them. So we don't create another environment where a whole nother generation goes with thinking that you're either crazy or not crazy.
I would just like to add that if you're a parent, getting your child therapy is not a mark of you failing as a
great point.
It's preventative action so that they don't have these dark emotions dragging them down for the rest of their life. You can change your kid's life now, so just be open-minded.
You guys are all so smart, man. I have such faith in the future of this country if it's in the three of your hands.
It does seem as if this White House doesn't want to bring a lot of high-profile attention to the issue. What efforts might depoliticize vaccine hesitancy? What happens if we don't act on police reform this year? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Right now on NBC News Now.
They've done things like installing cameras to help alert Border Patrol to people crossing. They are escaping a number of conditions there, violence and persecution in their home countries.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts. This is about 50 votes. If you can't get bipartisanship here, where are you going to get it? If China decided to cover this up, can we ever actually get a definitive answer? What happens if we don't act on police reform this year? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
I'm rolling up my sleeves for science, so I'll survive if I can track this virus. For family dinners, family vacations, family anything. For traveling somewhere beyond my living room. And for the Rebels, there is no greater feeling than being in the stadium and cheering on Ole Miss. And now it's your turn. Roll up your sleeves, America. Plan your vaccine, because every shot counts. Visit planyourvaccine.com and make your plan.
Killer Roll, the new podcast from Dateline. Subscribe now wherever you listen.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
So this is for all of you. Help me help parents watching right now who have teenagers and they're really worried about them and they can't tell if they're just a little sad, a little blue, a little tired, or really are showing some signs of something that could be more than that. How should parents approach their kids?
Well, I know that when I got approached with the idea of therapy, it was in a calm, not like invasive space. So definitely sitting your child down, making sure that they know that they still love them and they will still care about them, but introducing it slowly, saying like, oh, there's a person I want you to meet, or, oh, I think we should start, openly communicating with the idea of therapy, or even just going on YouTube and looking up like what a therapy session could look like, and making sure that the child definitely feels comfortable so we don't create another environment where a whole nother generation goes with thinking that you're either crazy or not crazy.
Right. Wow, that's great. Well said. Chris, what about you?
I mean, I think that the most important thing for parents would be to be compassionate, right? To kind of try to understand that we come from a different time than they do, and that all these problems necessarily aren't as bad as some might make them seem, right? And I also think that something that's super important is that, like, at least personally, right, I was very anti-therapy at the beginning, right? When my parents first came to me and they told me about this, I was like, no, I don't want to do this. And I think that that's something important for parents to accept. But then later on, like, I kind of came around to the idea, kind of got adjusted to it. And I thought that it would be a good idea. So I think that that parents should kind of approach their kids with this, but I definitely don't think that it should be something that's forced. Because the second that you force therapy or you force someone to do it like this, they're going to completely close off and it's not going to help at all, right? And then at that point, we're talking about like the spending of the money. You're just spending money for nothing at that point, right? And you're not benefiting from it. You're not getting anything out of it. So I think that the most important thing is that it should be a kid's choice on whether they want to get therapy or not.
I think that's well said. And then adding on what Lana said, do it in an environment that's safe and it's loving. And it's like, hey, look, there's somebody you can go and talk to. Just try it. The experience might be fun. You might walk out of there feeling actually amazing and seen and heard and not awkward. So I think that's good advice. While I have all three of you, I just would be remiss if I just didn't ask, what else? Like, what else can we do for Gen Z? I mean, this TikTok therapy is a whole revelation for me, and I hope it helps people watching. Is there anything else we're missing that as older generations that we can do to help you guys?
I would just like to add that if you're a parent, getting your child therapy is not a mark of you failing as a parent.
Great point.
I think not getting them therapy when they say, I want therapy, is a mark of failing, because, that is, like I said, maintenance, that is help to your kid, and it's preventative action so that they don't have these dark emotions dragging them down for the rest of their life. You can change your kid's life now, so just be open-minded, and maybe get on TikTok yourself if you want to see what it's about. I think we hold all these stereotypes and prejudices against things we don't know of, things that are foreign to us, but there doesn't have to be a generational gap. Just open dialogue and creating a comfortable environment and really trying to understand what your kid is going through. Like, no other generation has really had this giant pandemic, and they've had other social events impact their life, but this is something unique to us. So yeah, just trying to understand.
Wow, that's so great. Great point. Alana, what about you? What else can we do? What are we missing? Help me out.
One of the things I'd like to add is that when it comes to Gen Z, not to put us in this bubble and stereotype, but the fact that everyone finds comfort and everyone finds a sense of sanity in different things. So being more acceptance of maybe them wanting to sprout out to art or, a sport, or, even little crystals that people believe in that, have a certain power, and just religion, just being accepting of everybody as a whole, because everyone finds their sanity differently, so not being like, ew, you draw, that's nerdy,
Right.
They might find their comfort and their bubble in that.
Right. And we should be accepting of those things, of course.
Yeah.
Great point. Chris, how about you? What else you want to add? What are we missing?
Well, something that I think this is actually something that my therapist, it was an analogy that she had used, and I think it's actually really important. I think that like the older generations need to stop thinking that everything in life is going to be a right angle, that everything's just going to look perfect. It's going to be a 90-degree angle and it's going to be perfect. But there's always going to be deviations, right? Like it's not just a straight path. There are going to be curves and there's going to be bumps along the road. And I think that people need to accept the fact that there are going to be difficult times and not shy away from them, not ignore them, not bury them, push them down. I think that the most important thing is to try to face these problems. And like you were saying, for parents to just help their kids face these problems, to figure this stuff out, because it's a lot easier to kind of handle all of this stuff when you're a kid than it is when you're an adult, right? So we have to worry about school and all that kind of stuff, right? But school doesn't have the same stress as a job, right? Of taking care of a family, of things like that. So if we can try to just nail these things down and help our anxieties, our depressions, our mental illnesses right now, it's going to be really helpful for everyone, not just ourselves, but our kids and people in our lives.
And you guys are all so smart, man. I have such faith in the future of this country if it's in the three of your hands. This has been so enlightening, and I'm so impressed with all three of you, and I can't thank you enough. And I hope people watching this, both parents and your own fellow peers, just also walk away with, let's just be kinder to one another. Let's just be more accepting of people's differences. Let's not judge them, and let's just, help each other out, because we're all in it together. You guys are leading the way for that.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Right now on NBC News Now.
Here in Chicago, about 20,000 middle schoolers returning to school today.
They also took advantage of existing vaccine distribution networks throughout Alaska.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app. Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends at Today in a whole new way.
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Jill Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Get ready. Are you ready? Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright. Are you ready? We're going to do our part to spread the word on the importance of vaccines, so crucial for reopening America.
A big day around here, a very special naturalization ceremony.
Many of them doctors, nurses, other essential workers.
If you are a nurse, thank you.
Spring has sprung, guys, and we want to fill this season with some fun and surprises.
Yes, this is the face of excitement.
Celebrating Earth Day.
Let's change the world. Love it! Ready, actors.
An indie horror film, a talented young actress, and a deadly shot. Dateline's newest podcast, Killer Roll.
Action!
Subscribe for free wherever you get your podcasts.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
One San Francisco-based company is providing a friend to chat with.
It just so happens that friend's a robot. Meet Wobot, an on-demand therapist powered by artificial intelligence.
Because that's the kind of tool that Wobot is. It's there for you when you need it.
It's therapy at the touch of your fingertips, anytime, any place.
Wobot is a sort of in-the-moment emotional assistant, friendly character that just texts you on your phone every day and says, hey, how's your day going? How do you feel?
After years of clinical research at Stanford, psychologist Allison Darcy founded Wobot using the principles of cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT.
It's based on this idea that it's not events themselves that upset us, but it's really how we internalize things. And so CBT teaches people to take a step back for a moment and gather some objective evidence of their thoughts and feelings. It's a very practical approach to mental health.
Wobot engages in daily check-ins that can last anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. Over time, the chatbot builds an emotional model of the user, helping identify distorted thinking.
What we might have underestimated to begin with is the power of the tiny conversation in the moment that you need it. Being able to reach out to something that says, hey, hang on a second, let's talk through this.
it has the potential to just kind of stop that negative spiral. I think of what we've learned in the psychological field is that it is these tiny adjustments over time that make a really big impact.
It's exactly what college student Shishi Feng was looking for after the pressures of freshman year left her anxious.
I started researching for online therapy. That's when I came across Wobot.
At first, Shishi used the app daily.
He teaches you how to process your emotions and how to deal with them. Just a lot of tips and tricks.
Today, she sees a therapist, but continues her relationship with Wobot.
It's filling in the blanks whenever my therapist isn't available, and whenever I'm feeling really down or really anxious, really depressed, Wobot is kind of like this safe space for me to share my thoughts and feelings.
Since its launch last year, an estimated 2 million conversations taking place each week across 130 countries.
Depression has already become the leading cause of disability around the world. At the same time that these mental health needs are increasing, there's a huge shortage in mental health professionals available.
Darcy hopes that Wobot can help bridge that gap.
Wobot will never replace therapy because there's no replacement for human connection, and there never really will be. The fact that Wobot is not human is part of the thing that makes it so useful. Sometimes it's easier for people to confide in something when they know it's not human.
Psychiatrist Dr. Sue Varma joins us now to answer a few questions about the app. So, Doc, do you think this is a good idea?
I think that it certainly can help people who are already in therapy. It's certainly not meant to replace it. So much of cognitive behavioral therapy focuses on what's happening in between sessions, right? So therapy doesn't happen in a vacuum. As a trained cognitive behavioral therapist, I give people homework assignments to track their mood, to challenge their distortions in thinking, and this app can be a supplement. It's even for some people who are not sure about therapy, right? It's an entry point. And also it can be a booster for people who have finished a course of therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy is meant to be time limited, it's evidence-based, it's solutions oriented, and it really requires people to be proactively engaged.
Dr. Varma, thank you so much. Thank you. And we also want to remind folks the privacy policy.
Absolutely.
Make sure they're paying attention to the privacy policy.
Absolutely.
Dr. Varma, thank you so much, and be right back.
It does seem as if this White House doesn't want to bring a lot of high-profile attention to the issue. What efforts might depoliticize vaccine hesitancy? What happens if we don't act on police reform this year? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Make the most of your day with
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Savannah and Hoda bring you what you must know. The biggest moments of the morning.
One Republic!
Exclusive interviews.
Why did it work for you?
You're right. I am more talented than the rest.
And important headlines.
Major medical news this morning.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule. Streaming every day on Today All Day.
This is about 50 votes. If you can't get bipartisanship here, where are you going to get it? If China decided to cover this up, can we ever actually get a definitive answer? What happens if we don't act on police reform this year? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
It does seem as if this White House doesn't want to bring a lot of high-profile attention to the issue. What efforts might depoliticize vaccine hesitancy? What happens if we don't act on police reform this year? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Killer Roll, the new podcast from Dateline. Subscribe now wherever you listen.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
The big thing that brought me to Summit Achievement was how withdrawn I was.
I had a lot of issues with self-control and with substance abuse.
I'm actually here because of my video game addiction.
My anxiety and depression were at a point where I would just spend most of my days in my room, only coming out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, wasting my life away.
So they're grouped by what they are working on. A group with anxiety, and they're working with other students who are dealing with anxiety or substance use. Primarily it's anxiety and depression. The average day is 6 to 8 weeks. There's more and more research showing us that just spending time in nature is good for people's mental health, and especially young people.
Amanda and
I just scoped out camp, and we're planning on doing K-tarp over there.
I started in the field as a clinical social worker at a mental health center. Then I went on to work at a boarding school. I was a therapist and also ran a lot of the outdoor programming. Back in those early days, you didn't see a lot of kids with anxiety. It was much more oppositional, defiant, anger outbursts, and drug abuse. But more recently, I would say in the last 10 years, they're not refusing to go to school to use drugs or hang out and party with their friends. They're afraid to go to school. They're anxious about going to school. There's triggers related to school. And so they just feel like they can't go there and they refuse. Most of our students at Summit have been doing very well in their lives up till about 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, when the executive demands and the social demands of school become greater and greater.
Well, when I first came here, I was a little nervous. I mean, I've had therapy sessions before in my life, but never including wilderness. I was kind of just like, what?
My views on it to start weren't super positive. You know, I was kind of dreading it. It's something I was getting pulled away from my home and everything I kind of knew.
You brought a kitchen kit?
Yeah. Even though there are still those kind of negatives, I've kind of opened up to a lot of the positives and seen like what it really can help me with.
We got a hypothetical line parallel to this line right here.
3 days a week, they are at our facility, living in dorm settings, they're meeting with their therapist, and they are going to school.
Hey everybody, let's make sure that we pack out the food.
And so every Thursday, they go out on expedition, where they're challenged to go out backpacking and camping.
All right everyone, let's go. We take our students out winter backpacking. We're hiking with snowshoes on, and when you're carrying a 40-pound pack, that is a very athletic activity. And then on top of that, they're also sleeping outside, you know, in the snow, and we set up tarps. Spending that time in the woods gets rid of a lot of distractions of today's world and gives students the time and the space to process what's going on in their life.
It seems pretty absurd if you're hearing about it for the first time, but a big part of it is just sitting with the discomfort of being out there, being able to just witness really beautiful things.
Harnesses look good. When you're out in the woods, you just realize that it's just you, your team, and the wilderness around you. It's a little scary at first, but having the open sky around you, trees all around you, like, it's amazing.
Every expedition is about resiliency, it's about self-worth, it's about confidence, and they have to learn how to take care of themselves. And that's what we have to do in life. And we have to learn to deal with difficult situations.
Maybe we can do like a little emotional check-in of where we're at right now.
Everyone's here because they have issues that they're dealing with. And we like to talk about those issues when we're on trail.
I meet with students for at least 3 hours face-to-face a week. We're right there alongside them. We will hike with them. We will eat dinner with them. And that relationship building process is so important, and that we're not asking them to do anything that we wouldn't be willing to do. At intake, all of our students are given several assessments, both at the beginning of treatment and at the end of treatment. And our hope is to be able to capture, where a student is at when they enter treatment and where is a student at when they are getting ready to discharge.
Working with my therapist here, I have gotten a bunch of coping skills and ways to calm down myself when I'm in a episode or something, or like a panic attack.
Now, anytime that I'm having a hard moment, something I do that seriously helps so much is I'm like, yeah, like this is kind of tough, but at least it's not raining on me right now. I've got one thing going for me. And then I can start coming up with a lot more.
When insurance companies start reimbursing more and more, there'll be more wilderness programs. There's a recent study by the University of New Hampshire that is showing that it's actually less expensive with less relapse if a young person goes to wilderness therapy than a traditional facility. And I think we're all coming to the realization that sitting in an office with an adolescent isn't all that effective. There is nothing like summiting a mountain and seeing a view to make you feel really good.
Whenever we would get to the top of a mountain, I would like take some space and like go sit down and just like look out, and I would flash back to like my room, like just looking at the wall, like that's not beautiful. And I look out in front of me and just see like this beautiful landscape. I'm like, okay, so this is what the world has to offer.
I found a loss in my community, my friends. Something changed, and I had no idea what the future held.
The 50 years after those riots right across the street at the historic Stonewall Inn, undeniably, a lot of progress has been made. Well, now, a group of dads, religious dads in fact, creating a community so their kids are loved and accepted.
My name is Jake Abhow, my son is John, and I was part of a group of fathers that started Dragon Dad 6 years ago.
My name's Drew Armstrong. I'm Tyler's dad, and I've been a Dragon Dad for 6 years.
I'm Dave Jensen. I'm the father of Natalie Jensen and Cooper Jensen, and I've been in Dragon Dads for 3.5 years. So I was raised in a Christian church, and I was taught that being gay wasn't God's way. I feel blessed a few months before Natalie came out to us that my wife and I had a change of heart. We were able, to the best of our ability, be as level-headed and loving as possible. We were very upfront saying,
I have no idea what I'm doing, but I love you. I love you a whole lot. And he always made that really, really clear that he still loved me.
So we spent a lot of time with Natalie asking questions. And in fact, we have a swing in the front of our house, which later by my son has started being referred to as the gay swing. Because every time we were on the swing, sitting with Natalie, we were talking about LGBTQ issues. Over time, he started to realize things within himself.
But it really means something to me because he's just, I just love him a lot.
As you support your LGBTQ kids, I found a loss in my community, my friends. It was a struggle. I needed friends. I needed people who were in the same place in life as I was.
In 2013, my wife and I were active members in the Mormon Church. My son was 13 at the time, and essentially kind of came to the realization that he probably was gay. We were looking for community. We were looking for other people that were going through similar things that we were going through. And so literally, I went online one day and just formed a Facebook group called a Dragon Dads. Papa Dragon sounded a little bit too much like Papa Smurf to me. Dads just has a little bit more of a loving appeal to it. The Facebook itself started with about 5 or 6 members. Within a year, we grew to maybe 30. Being part of this Facebook group has really helped a lot of us reestablish that community that we felt when we were members of either whether it was Mormonism or another religious organization.
What's the purpose of Dragon Dads in the simplest of terms?
We help other dads know how to parent a gay, lesbian, trans child. We really just try to be there for each other. And I think people maybe tend to overlook that. When you're coming from a conservative background and you've got a kid that, you know, is LGBT at some level, there's things in your community that you kind of have to face and deal with that you maybe don't think about.
What does your son think about all of this?
He thinks I'm gayer than he is. He's like, Dad, you go do that thing. He's like, I'm just gonna live my life.
But he appreciates it.
Yeah, well, I think that's the point. I mean, that's what we're trying to do here. For him, he's living a life that's just his life.
It wasn't so much that I found Dragon Dads, it was I found these guys that are like me and let's do something with it. I think just like it is for our kids, when our kids find a group of people that they can belong with, they go, oh my gosh, these people are dealing with the same stuff that I am. Having people that you say, you know, these are my people, I identify with these guys, it makes a difference.
Hey gentlemen, can I get everybody's attention?
No.
Welcome to breakfast. I started putting out on Facebook an Affirming Fathers breakfast, and other dads just started coming. I know how much being able to sit down with other dads and talk things through without a filter, I know how much that meant to me. We go out for breakfast, we eat, we're friends. We enjoy each other's company, we talk about things that are going on in our kids' lives, and have a community.
Brian Taylor from Querétaro, Mexico. I have a trans daughter that came out 2.5 years ago.
I know I connect with a lot of you online, but it's good to meet some of you in person today.
I feel honored to be a part of this group, to be associated with all of you.
My name is Mark, and I've also just joined this group.
My name is Phil Berry, got a 17-year-old gay son, Abram.
Fresh eggs. You wanna get some more? We had known since he was much younger that he was likely gay. Just to make things easier for him, we just wrote him a note and slid it under his pillow. There's much more where this came from. In the meantime, know that you are a beautiful, wonderful, and likable young man, and I'm proud to call you a friend. Signed, Dad.
Has that changed in 5 years?
No. The Dragon Dads helps us be more outspoken in our own spheres. Just knowing that they're out there and that they've got our back, it really means a lot to have that network of support.
Today is a little bit different because we have Pride starting today, right?
I came up here from Arizona to march in this parade with our group. We like to think that we're just flies on the wall here and really just are here to help if we're needed, but ultimately this isn't about us.
Marching down that street, there's a love in that group that I don't know where else I've felt that, a certain amount of acceptance.
Walking in the parade with your dad is basically him being like, yes, look at me world, I'm an awesome dad.
He's over here like trying to change the world, and it's really cool.
Dragon Dads exists to bring education and awareness to other fathers.
We're hoping that there are other fathers that are coming in and maybe dipping their toe in the water a little bit to see what's out there and what they can learn. And that's what our group's for.
People need an example. I think that's what we really want to do, is set a good example for dads of as to this is how you father, this is how you parent an LGBT kid.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright. Are you ready? We're going to do our part to spread the word on the importance of vaccines, so crucial for reopening America.
A big day around here, a very special naturalization ceremony.
Many of them doctors, nurses, other essential workers.
If you are a nurse, thank you.
Spring has sprung, guys, and we want to fill this season with some fun and surprises.
Yes.
This is the face of excitement.
Celebrating Earth Day. Let's change the world.
It has been a long year. Yeah, where it's been anything but normal.
Well, now there's hope. The COVID vaccines.
I know. It's been a little confusing.
Like really confusing.
So it's more important than ever to make a plan. Visit planyourvaccine.com
to find out where and when to get your vaccine.
What are you waiting for?
Roll up your sleeves and plan your vaccine.
Plan your vaccine.
Plan your vaccine.
Addison,
you're only as pretty as you treat people.
I hurriedly scribbled something on a Ziploc bag while I was making her lunch, slipped it in her bag, not thinking anything of it, and kind of the rest is history.
A few years ago, after moving his family around from city to city chasing career opportunities, Chris Yandel decided he wasn't doing enough for his then 9-year-old daughter, Addison. He tried to change that by slipping daily handwritten notes of inspiration into her lunch bag. And just like that, Dad Lunch Notes was born. Does she still enjoy the Dad Lunch Notes?
It depends what day it is, Craig. And that's okay. I do it to show that I have her back all the time and I'm always here for her.
Chris realized he wasn't being the best dad around the same time he was struggling professionally, having recently lost a high-profile PR job in college athletics. At one point, you wrote, you were a dead man walking.
Pretty much.
What'd you mean by that?
I had been given one of the highest awards in my profession in college public relations and athletics. And 2 years later, I was let go from a job. And I felt like I let my family down, specifically my kids.
Growing up, Chris knew all about the plight of being that new kid in school since his dad also moved the family around for work. How much of this project was also influenced by your own childhood?
A lot of it was, growing up, moving around a lot. I never really had a place that I could call home. And I didn't want to do that to my kids, but I ended up doing to them anyway.
Both Chris and his wife, Ashley, had endured the pain of bullying in their youth and soon recognized the signs in their daughter.
There were a lot of red flags there. Her body language, her reaction, grades.
And did that change the kinds of notes you wrote?
It definitely changed the tone. I want her to know that, hey, not everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows. It may not be the way other dads do it, but this is my way to help.
Knowing what I know, I think it's probably safe to say your dad was a lot like mine in that they didn't emote.
That is correct.
Is that a stereotype that you were deliberately trying to crush?
Absolutely. That's a stereotype that I don't believe in. And it's also kind of how men shouldn't have mental health issues. And it was those multiple stereotypes I wanted to throw away.
Chris took his Lunch Notes project public in 2018, compiling it into a book. Now, over 600 dad notes later, Chris has continued to write throughout the pandemic, even when his daughter Addison, now a 7th grader, was schooling remotely. If you did write Dad a short note, what would you write?
It would basically say something about me, like how much I care about him and like how much it would like to give him like a note to stay on the right path,
Have you ever read one and you thought, my dad, God, when will he stop with these notes?
Yeah, multiple times because it was like a really bad dad joke and it just made me like cringe.
Learn a little bit, and I'm gonna have you all the way together like mommy be having you together. Let me check you out. Let me see you. Oh, okay, let me see. Not yet, not yet. No. I ain't got it yet. All right, sit back down. Let me try again.
So one way dads are trying to stay involved in their kids' lives, doing their daughter's hair. This is actually my barbershop here at 30 Rock. But dads aren't just taking their sons to the barbershop anymore. No. Dads are actually doing their daughter's hair as a way to form a lasting relationship as they braid.
I'm Frank Whitfield, and we have 3 beautiful daughters, Octavia, Sophia, and Eliza.
My name is Ricardo Benson. My daughter is Colby Benson.
Outside Cleveland, Ohio, 2 dads are tackling the tresses of their daughters, or at least trying to.
Oh, tired. I'm tired. On my back. I recently made a huge decision to resign from my job, so I'm around a lot more the house, and I want to be able to chip in and help out with the kids with their hairs. I came into Octavia's life when she was 8 years old, so I went from single to married with a daughter. Immediately I had to learn how to figure out how to do her hair when we wanted to go out somewhere. And Sophia, she doesn't let me do her hair yet because she doesn't feel like I'm good enough yet. And Eliza, she doesn't know any better, so I get a chance to do her hair quite often. I'm gonna keep that out there. I'll brush you together right here. You all right?
Yeah.
We all find our unique things that we do together. And so even when they're doing each other's hair, I'm sitting amongst them talking to them. So, you know, hair is a big part of this house, and a lot of households, hair is a key part of it. So we get that bonding opportunity often, whether I'm doing the hair or not. We often get a chance to bond around it.
My daughter is my world. Everything I do is for her.
The combing, the brushing, it's not about looks, but about time together.
When we do her hair, we do it at night. You know, we sit on the couch, we watch a movie, she'll read a book, and it's just time for us to really just sit down and talk about how her day was going. It's a bond for sure. I want my daughter to understand that she can talk to me about anything. And, you know, sometimes that's when I get things that I don't hear about her day. She's more relaxed at that time, and she opens up a little bit more.
It hurt?
Okay. Her hair is so curly, it's kind of hard to do sometimes.
What could I do better? Braids? The twist?
Just the side pony.
But at the same time, I want to be able to provide that for my daughter as well. I just hope that I can continue to put that smile on my daughter's face after I do her hair and her really like it. And me not be like, Daddy messed up on this one. Let's start over.
That's where Taya Riggins comes in. She owns Naturally Me Studios and holds quarterly workshops teaching Frank, Ricardo, and others how to perfect their ponytails.
I actually deal with a lot of male clientele. They'll come to me and they say, hey, T, you know, can you help me with my daughter's hair? And because I have a passion for hair and a passion for teaching, I thought that that would be a great opportunity to step in, because we expect dads to be about sports and we expect them to be about other things, but there are things that you can do with your child. Doing hair is actually really fun and interactive.
I decided to take this class just so I can be better at doing her hair, not hurting her, pulling her hair out, and learning how to braid.
Well, I think that's the challenge. People don't want you to practice on them. You know, it's like they want you to have it right. So classes like this give me a chance to figure it out.
I hold the brush right here at the base because it makes it easier and you're not yanking.
Before I took the class, I was the king of the ponytail. So just, you know, brush it all the way back. You know, try your best to squeeze it and put the rubber band around it. I still haven't figured out the braiding though.
A lot of them come out a little bit like the Pippi Longstocking. You know, stick it straight out of the head instead of actually laying down.
I feel like it seems easy, you know, grabbing two strands and twisting them tight. You know, the last time I tried, I failed, so I ended up going back to the ponytail. So it's like, all right, I gotta master this thing.
So this is also a trend that's becoming more and more popular. You've got dads on YouTube learning how to do their daughter's hair. You've got dads teaching other dads how to do their daughter's hair. Now you've got this former NFL player named Matthew Cherry. He's written a book called Hair Love, highlights all of it. Why do you think this particular story resonates with so many people?
I just thought, you know, the father-daughter dynamic was so unique. Just this combination of like all these viral videos of black fathers doing their daughter's hair. These videos were going viral because people weren't used to seeing these images. They thought it was like an anomaly. And so with this, I just want to make sure that hopefully just normalize it. And you know, right now, I think in 2019, like, you know, the gender norms are going away.
What do you want people to take away from the book?
I think there's a big stereotype that African-American men aren't involved in their kids' lives. And so just trying to normalize and show that, you know, yeah, we definitely, not only are we a part of our kids' lives, like we'll do things that you probably didn't think that we would do, like doing hair and, you know, things you do because you want to show your daughter that she's the most important thing in your world. And so I think that really is the messaging behind it.
But for those dads back in Ohio, it's the daily practice, the small moments with their girls that they treasure.
I wouldn't change it for the world, whether I'm messing up or it looks great, you know? Every moment that I get with my daughter that's all that matters.
Being a father, it's about being present. It's important that they feel that love and that they feel that care and protection as a father. And I think things like being able to do their hair are just pluses. It shows that, hey, I want them to feel and look beautiful. The ability to bond with your daughters like this is something that is irreplaceable.
Tonight, the CDC's new outdoor mask guidelines. What changed that allowed this new recommendation to be made? If we do nothing, what happens to a city like Houston?
You're going to repeat this movie over and over again.
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Our week-long journey begins here in Orlando, Louisville, Kentucky, Cleveland. Our Across America journey reporting on an America rebuilding and reimagining a future after the pandemic. Breaking news tonight, the ceasefire in the Middle East after 11 days of deadly violence. Richard Engel is on the ground. Do you think there's a connection between policing and racism? How narrow a window do you have to really get kids back where we would want them to be?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends at Today in a whole new way.
Today in 30.
We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Jill Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today Food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Get ready. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
Right now on NBC News Now.
They've done things like installing cameras to help alert Border Patrol to people crossing. They are escaping a number of conditions there, violence and persecution in their home countries.
We haven't spent this much time together, have we?
No, we haven't.
How's it been?
It's been pretty,
yeah,
pretty good.
You think so?
Yeah.
You sure?
I'm sure.
So I haven't annoyed you at all?
No.
You sure?
Because of the pandemic, I'm home a lot more than I used to be. In their minds, if you're working at home, you're not really working. You belong to us.
For me, it's fantastic. Smaller kids need, when they see mom and dad, and they went, Nick is like, hey, how you doing, Dad?
Got a studio in the house. I've got to go downstairs and do the show. Like my daughter has literally said, no, you don't, Daddy. You don't have to do that. Why am I arguing with a 3-year-old?
This is what it's all about for me. Daily Squad right here.
I want them to be comfortable in their own skin. I want them to be happy. But most of all, I want them to know how loved they are.
I've loved being around him. My only regret is my other 2 kids aren't here.
Hey, what do you like most about Daddy?
Gave you Lucky Charms this morning.
I gave you Lucky Charms this morning? You weren't supposed to tell anybody that. Getting into that pattern, that Mr. Mom pattern. I think I wear it well, I think.
Working from home is like some people rave about it and they're like, oh, we're never going back to the way it was. We have to go back to the way it was. Can't happen.
What's one of the things we do almost every night together?
What we're cooking.
I've also got some leftover ribs. Nick has been my camera person.
That's a wrap.
I watch him, and he obviously has some challenges, but it doesn't stop him. My only regret is that, Nick never got to meet his grandfather. I know how proud he would have been of all of those children.
A caring dad.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Kid-generated imagery. Jackson, of course, has been helping me out in the graphics department during Popstar.
Rest your arms, I'll tell you when.
We were doing it via FaceTime, and I didn't think that we were able to put the little graphics up in the corner, so I thought it would be sort of endearing and cute to enlist Jackson to help me. And I thought it'd be funny because it's just his arms, it won't be his face, so that's kind of a win-win. And sure enough, he really just took a liking to it. He's shown a lot of good work ethic, which of course, that's one of the great traits that I have been taught by my father.
Since we've been spending so much time together, obviously you love your kids. I find that I really like my kids. We gotta keep the tradition going. We gotta get our Father's Day happy hour on.
Here, pour it in the camera.
Cheers, Franz.
Last time we got together, nobody had heard of COVID or a pandemic. And now here we are. If you had said to all of us 6 months ago, you are going to have more time with your children than you ever thought you would have, what would your reaction be?
Have another drink. I mean, I would have loved it. You guys know, I feel I love my kids. I find myself working to get home.
5 months ago, passing in the night, but now, like, we have every dinner together, like literally every night. What's been the favorite moment of fatherhood since we last did this a year ago?
Playing basketball with Nick. Anywhere I take a shot, he's not even looking, and he's a
wow
stuff away.
And this time next year, you'll be a father-in-law.
It was yesterday. I was struggling just putting Courtney's hair into 4 braids equidistant. And now I'm going to be walking her down the aisle in a year.
And then a few years from now, you'll be a grandfather.
Shut up!
That's why I have the tattoos. So if you're thinking about dating either of them, you got to get through this guy first.
All the dads out there, and to all the men who are dads to others.
Amen to that.
Happy
Cheers.
Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Father's
Cheers.
Day, gents.
Cheers. Love you guys.
Happy Father's Day. Daddy, I love you. Daddy, I love you. Happy Father's Day.
Oh, I love you guys. Now go clean your room.
Happy Father's Day.
I love you.
I love you too.
You smell good.
I know.
Our Across America journey here in Louisville, Kentucky. Cleveland, reporting on an America rebuilding after the pandemic. How narrow a window do you have to really get kids back where we would want them to be?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends at Today in a whole new way.
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Jill Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Get ready. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
Our Across America journey here in Louisville, Kentucky. Cleveland, reporting on an America rebuilding after the pandemic. How narrow a window do you have to really get kids back where we would want them to be?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Hoda, you're back. We're ready for a booth.
All right, got a good one for you. All right, do you guys remember that scene from that rom-com Love Actually? The guy holds up the cardboard signs and he tells the woman he loves her. Well, a young woman in England used that same technique to share some exciting news with her dad. The signs read, "What do you get a dad who has everything?" The answer was a promotion. And then, here's what came next.
Look at his reaction.
The daughter's been trying to start a family for a while, so her dad was obviously overwhelmed by that. Wonderful. By the way, I gotta say, one of the greatest things in life is getting a peek into people's tender moments like that. The fact that we get to witness that was super cool. How beautiful.
Okay, now that goes every time I put a new one at the top of the list.
Yeah. That's why we have the Boost Olympics at the end of the year every year. Welcome to Today All Day.
All day?
Today All Day.
All day.
This is a long way of asking who's your favorite character you've ever played?
The unicorn. The unicorn. You gotta have the unicorn.
What is she right there? That's why you're saying all these nice things?
Yeah, she gave me the look. Sorry to disturb your day. Everyone's mad at you, Willie.
Better make this fast. I don't want the wrath of Luna.
When I see you, I always think, I wonder what his quote would be.
Give us 6 minutes and we'll ask as many questions as we can.
Welcome to Cold Cuts.
Cold Cuts.
Cold cut.
My buddy Cal cooking with me.
Dads don't babysit. It's called parenting.
What was the first book you remember loving?
Heart Smart today with simple exercises to strengthen your heart.
Make the most of your beach days.
It's all about the tracksuit now. How good do they look?
I now pronounce you husband and wife. Kiss the bride.
This morning, a story of people helping people.
You've received tons of letters from people who have been inspired.
Let's do the weather out. Okay. All you gotta do is say, it's cold, it's warm, it's raining, it's snowing. That's it.
One of our most favorite franchises ever, Ambush Makeovers.
Okay.
Look at it. It doesn't look so good.
No, it doesn't look good.
Will you judge us in a cook-off?
I will, and you
Okay.
guys will definitely win something.
Today, all day.
All day?
All day.
Welcome to Today All Day.